Hey, everybody. Welcome. It's Thursday. Will, my favorite Will. How are we today, sir?
Did you know in the Renaissance, I probably told this anecdote before, but will was slang for both sets of genitalia and for the act of coupling. So you could literally will your will into a will, or vice versa. And that's all it was.
Well, glory be to that person that invented the will. Uh,
Shakespeare makes a lot of puns on that particular fact of linguistic acrobatics. Hey,
how's
everybody.
everything been? It's been a busy month.
Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, man. Big graduation is tomorrow for one of the schools I teach at, the main one. Did commencement activities, turned a year older last week. The big 46 now. Jesus Christ.
I don't know how you do it.
I tell you what, man, I'm falling apart. I got to stir Viagra into my bran flakes. I need help coming and going.
Is that just to be able to roll out of bed?
do anything worth doing.
Anyways, I hope everybody is doing well. And Will, I am happy to see everybody here. It has been busy as hell behind the scenes this week, and we are excited to talk about as much as we possibly can tonight. Lots and lots going on. Will, you want to share any recent pickups?
Pickups. I will share some pickups, Ryan. In fact, I got a little surprise. Well, first I'll start with the movies, and it's been so busy I haven't even been able to take these out of the packaging yet, but they are some pretty good titles. I just got in Eureka's Cat and the Canary. Pretty excited about that one. 101's release of Abel Ferrara's Fierce City. Very good. Very good. And you know our friend, what was his name, Mike, at a Grindhouse?
Yes, sir. Mike Sandlin.
Had the MVD sale. So, Swamp Thing 4K. And Michael Cimino's Desperate Hours.
Nice.
That was a blind one, just because it was Michael Cimino. See? Cimino or Cimino?
I think it's Cimino.
It should be Cimino, but, things get anglicized. Cult Epics released of the Alan Robbe Playing with Fire.
Ooh.
And finally, I've heard that this was from the Kino sale, but it was out of stock, so it didn't ship with my rest of my order, which I think I shared some last month, maybe? Or maybe I didn't. But anyway, got the Monster Squad on 4K. Not done yet. One of my all-time favorite groups, one of Laurent's from Wicked Vision's all-time favorite groups, Blitzkid, just released Rarities Volume 2. They're going out doing some shows. So if you don't know Blitzkid, definitely get on YouTube and find some of their stuff. And as I mentioned, it's my birthday last week, and one of my students, former student who had taken my cult films course and somehow through illicit deep state means found out that it was my birthday, got me this Elvira.
Nice.
Toy, which I was pretty happy with. And finally, here's my surprise. I'm going to do a live unboxing.
Live unboxing. Oh, I know what that.
Got a package today from our good friend Erica Schultz, who I so enjoyed. What was it, last week or week before last?
Last week, yeah.
Last week. I love the faces she makes when she doesn't care about a release announcement.
So most of them.
Yeah. And I just think she's the best, man. I've met her twice on the video thing, and both times I've made it like so awkward. I've just been like completely socially inept. What's this? All right, well, here's the book.
Book is still available at Diabolic DVD. I believe Orbit had some in again. They might have already sold out again, but I believe some of those are either getting some more, or you can still buy it directly from Erica at the sweetest taboo book.bigcartel.com.
This is number 101, and I'll be reading this to my little daughter at bedtime. And what's this? I got a pack of stickers and shit, postcards. Nice. So, pretty great.
Josephine in the chat says, first time watches since last time. Albert Brooks' Real Life, Youth Without Youth, Come Drink With Me, Daughters of the Dust, Noises Off Coma, Smoke Signals. Will, she wants to know if you've seen any of those and any thoughts on them.
Well, Daughters of the Dust in particular is a really good film, important film. First movie since at least 1922 that was theatrically distributed, directed by a black woman, Julie Dash. Love that movie. The cinematographer, what was his name? He was married to her at the time, Arthur Jaffa, and he just did a really cool project in which he restored the ending sequence of Taxi Driver the way it was originally written, in which the Harvey Keitel character is black. And I'm really wanting to see that because the original version was much more emphasis was placed on Travis Bickle's racism. But anyway, Coma. Oh man, Craig just said he saw it in the theater when he was 6. I bet that scene in the cadaver room broke your mind. Yeah, Coma's pretty intense. I like that. What else? Youth Without Youth I haven't seen yet.
Come Drink With Me, super important.
Yeah.
Beautiful movie.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't seen that in forever. That's on, is that on Criterion?
Arrow.
Oh, yes. I'm picturing the cover in my head now. Or on my list. So yeah, those are my pickups. How about you, my friend?
I got a few since we're talking about Erica right now. I also noticed last week that Lance, Erica's partner in crime on Unsung Horrors, was reminding people that his big cartel store existed, and I totally forgot and meant to get stuff earlier. So I got some Unsung Horrors swag for the house. This is a magnet, not a sticker. And then the main reason that we were celebrating last week and he was pimping it out was the John Waters pin.
Nice.
There's the best view. And then he's a great designer. Here's one of his stickers. This thing is gorgeous, so I had to get all of it. And came super fast. Loved it. MVD, since you showed a couple of MVD things, brand new in from MVD, new MVD Rewind titles, Hardware Wars and Sabotage. I still can't believe we have an HD release of Hardware Wars. This is wild. Have you seen Hardware Wars before?
No, I haven't.
It is silly. I still have the VHS here, and I have a Blu-ray. That's weird. The other thing, finally got in some contributor copies of these 3 beautiful pieces from TerraVision, one of which features Dr. Dodson prominently, one of which features my silly voice a little bit, and then one of which I worked together with Sean to make a visual essay. All 3 of these are really, really full of immense pride at this point. This was a really fun cycle of things to go through, and I'm very happy to be able to have them here in my hand. TerraVision is killing it right now. We're going to talk about them now, if we'd like. We got some recent announcements for TerraVision that Someone's Favorite Productions is on it quite prominently, and Will wasn't here to be able to talk about it. So why don't we bring those up and share some inside stories if we can?
Oh yeah.
So first one, Old Kung Fu Master. Will, it was not a super deep part of this one, but me and Sean Williams from the Food for Thought podcast, we did another visual essay, kind of like we did for Game of Killers. Any thoughts on that visual essay or anything about Old Kung Fu Master?
It's okay.
All right.
No, it was great. So yeah, my contribution was just giving some suggestions to the script. I thought it turned out great. The footage that you all pulled and the pacing of it, I really enjoyed watching. Yeah. So
How about Papadopoulos?
You want to talk about Papadopoulos?
Let's talk about Papadopoulos.
Well, that was really cool because I got to interview a colleague, Roderick Bustier, who is connected with the Women's Gender and Sexuality Studies Department. And Dr. Rod, as I call him, consented to give a lecture about Wynorski's films and their kind of significance as art. And so we got that lecture, and I thought it turned out pretty well.
It might be one of our most professional pieces so far.
Mm-hmm. Yep, definitely.
It's rather entertaining, and I think people are going to love it.
Yeah, it's a very entertaining lecture.
How do you feel about the entire Papadopoulos package?
I have to say, so far, my favorite bit of feedback about that particular visual essay is on the TerraVision release stream when you mentioned it, and Brad said that he showed it to Brad Henderson said he showed it to the director of Papadopoulos, and he was like, "What is this supposed to be?" And Brad was like, "No, it's funny," and the response of the director was, "Okay, whatever." So I hope all of you out there get your chance to be perplexed,
to dismiss it.
Whatever.
Yeah, that was rather funny.
But no, it's great. I mean, look, it is awesome that they were able to get a high definition master of The Witches of Brestwick. I want to say to anybody out there who has never seen a Wynorski movie, this shouldn't be your first Wynorski movie. It's not. He shot it in 3 days. Okay. It's that being said, it's one of the best movies ever shot in 3 days, and has a whole lot of history in it. Stormy Daniels is, I think, really good in her role. But the documentary itself, Papadopoulos, is a really great introduction to Wynorski as a character, as a filmmaker, as a cantankerous guy, as a guy who can be serious and demanding and abrasive, but also a guy who can be really funny and silly and just make really entertaining movies. And I'm most excited about the fact that they got a work print of the documentary that's like 2 hours long.
That's never been seen.
Yeah. So the edited documentary is like 78, maybe 80 minutes.
I don't even think it hits 80.
So this is going to be kind of amazing. And I mean, it's 78 minutes with about 5 minutes of padded credits, as are typical of Wynorski movies. So yeah, I'm very enthusiastic about this. To be able to work in any way on anything connected to Jim Wynorski is obviously a dream come true.
I was thrilled that we got this one, and I think it turned out excellent. But I think the biggest title on the screen for us, which is pretty formative for our being. Why don't you tell the people why Nail Gun Massacre is so important there, Will?
Hold on, I've got to type Ghoulies 4K into the chat for Jack. I want it. Oh, I'm signed in as you. Oh, I can type anything I want in the chat, and it's you. What'd you ask?
Tell us why the Nail Gun Massacre is so important.
Okay. So that was actually the very first audio commentary we recorded together, right?
Yes, sir.
And we recorded it at about 10 a.m. on a Sunday. And at about 1 p.m. that Sunday. I had to drive to work. I had to work on a Sunday, like freaking surf. I called you on my way to work, and I was like, "We got to redo it." And you were very resistant.
I was.
And I was like, no, we have to redo it. That was terrible. And to your credit, Ryan, you agreed. Not only did you agree to redo it, but you agreed to redo it. For some reason, you were insistent that we had to get it done like that day. This was like almost 6 months ago.
Yep.
But so you agreed to redo it. We redid it. It was like 9 p.m. your time, 10 o'clock my time. And it was much better. So you're getting the much better version.
But why, other than it was our first commentary, this obviously was a big deal to find out how we can mesh together on a commentary, to find out how we work well together.
Yeah.
And literally, Will is not kidding here. That commentary was recorded more than 6 months ago. Literally.
Yeah.
It's a big deal for us, and it meant a lot. And I mean, apart from the someone's favorite stuff, I've been working behind the scenes on Nailgun a lot. I mean, I did the interviews as well, and it's so wild. Like in my random everyday life, I have Rocky Patterson, who plays the cool doc in the jean jacket in this movie. He just randomly calls me like once every couple weeks just to check in on me, and I'm like, Rocky, you're like 78, and this is amazing. Thank you for doing this.
You're part of the Nailgun family. Yeah, I think that's the really cool thing, is that the reason we had to rush and get it done at the time is because originally the release was going to have all the special features from every release
that
had ever happened, but it was just going to be a Blu-ray, our commentary, and I think
the redux on the Hysteria Continues, I think, was already done then too.
And I'm certain there's a Alexandra Heller Nicholas visual essay. Just always a good guess.
Yeah.
But then the decision was made to go 4K, and the opportunities were there to do all these new interviews. And Brad saw that he could exploit your labor fairly cheaply.
Yep.
And now you're all over it. I mean, you produced almost all of the new extras, right?
Yeah, except for the commentary. And it's a pretty stupendous release, especially for the price, and not just hawking because we're all over it or anything, but this is one, if I wasn't getting this sent to me, I may have bought like two, one to give away to somebody because I know they appreciate this movie, and I believe they had the old DVD release, and they need this one. But this release is crazy what they have on it.
Okay, I got to pause here because I just noticed that Stan Geezy said he was on the set of Dinosaur Island. And Stan, you're going to need to give some deets. Dinosaur Island, of course, one of the great formative films in Jim Wynorski's early career. But anyway, back to Nailgun. Yeah, I don't get it. Nailgun Massacre is generally, I would say that's not a movie for me, but I do really appreciate it, and I find it entertaining as a true piece of outsider art. And researching it and working on it and actually having to think about it deeply enough to record a commentary, like an actual thoughtful commentary that analyzes the movie, as opposed to some other commentaries.
Something that makes fun of it the whole time.
Yeah. Not that I'm naming any of those, but really made me appreciate it and enjoy it more. And I'm constantly astounded at the kind of cult love for it. I'm really excited that among the archival features is the Joe Bob Briggs Q&A from Texas Frightmare from what year was that?
2006.
Yeah,
I think it's an old one.
It's really cool to be able to like touch base with the cast and crew, like 2 decades after the movie was made, and then 2 decades after that.
Yeah.
Because how could any of them have thought the film would have any kind of life?
And now there's people asking for this release to be at Texas Frightmare 2024, which I'm not saying this is happening next year or anything, but next year is the 40-year anniversary of Nail Gun. I mean, we might be able to get some sort of a thing going where we get some people to show up for another Q&A. That would be fun.
I'll take a free flight. Yeah, so it's such an honor to be on this film at this time, and to have that be our first experience, and me making you do everything over.
Yeah, that's not the only commentary we've recorded twice. Dustin wants you to do a commentary for Mandy when it gets a new upgraded edition.
You know what? I would do that. And I would treat it with respect.
Humboldt Whore Honey is asking what's on my shirt. It's the Severin Halloween pumpkin shirt. Nice. What are you wearing tonight, Will?
Oh, I got the
Blitz Kid.
Classic logo Blitz Kid. They've been around since 1996, and this was their original logo tee. I first met them in 1999. I think I've told this story before, haven't I?
I think so.
I met them New Year's Eve, drinking Mad Dog 2020 Orange, and wrote up a contract in pencil on a napkin to pay them $500 to play it for my college radio station. And they did, and they got paid. And that started a relationship, because I ran a punk rock club in Kentucky for like 4 years. And I shouldn't say I ran it, I facilitated, because I had access to the space and worked with a bunch of young people there to do it. And Blitz Kid became kind of a favorite. And that was in their early years. And then they went on, they signed to like Nuclear Blast, and got real big in Europe. That's where Laurent got into them. And they're doing some reunion shows this year. And I mention this because I think I can say this. I'm going to be interviewing Argyle Goolsby from Blitz Kid for an upcoming release from a label to be named at the appropriate time.
Which is such an interesting connection to make for one of these releases. I love it, and can't wait to see it.
I should say they're a horror punk band and very steeped in horror movie imagery. Very, very fun.
Speaking of horror, what have you been watching recently?
You know what? I knew you were going to ask that question because you ask it every month. And not much, man. This month has been crazy. I watched a movie that I think we'll be talking about in a minute, Right Hand of the Devil, a couple times. I got home late so many days this month, or in April, that when you feel like you can watch a show but not a movie.
Yep.
So I ended up watching a show that my wife and I went out to dinner at a fancy restaurant. We do it every couple of months, to keep things alive. And there was an incredibly obnoxious extended family next to us, like 10 or 12 people. And Jesus Christ, the shit they were talking about was weird. Well, one of them started talking about this show on Amazon Prime that they liked. And I was like, I got to see what this is. And okay, so forget about the family. They're irrelevant. It's just how I heard the name of the show. It's called Deadlock, LOCH. It's a Australian lesbian rural comedy crime show, murder mystery show. And it's really funny.
The title makes more sense now. I was confused when you said rural Yeah, and then I was like, Deadlock? Now it makes sense.
Yeah, it's set in Tasmania. Yeah, so I recommend it. There's only one season. So I got through all of that, and let's see. I watched for the first time, this is an older Vinegar Syndrome release, Demonoid.
This is a good movie.
Demonoid, one of the truly bonkers possessed evil hand movies with Samantha Eggar. It's quite a bit of fun. I enjoyed Demonoid. I just started but haven't finished yet the longer alternate cut, which is fairly different. Macabre is the original title. So I recommend Demonoid to anybody out there who hasn't seen it. And I know Stan and probably many others will throw up a little bit in their mouths when I say this, but mainly I've been watching NBA playoffs. I like basketball.
Well, you already mentioned it. Before I get into mine, why don't we discuss this release that's about to drop?
Yeah. Oh, am I going to keep going?
Yeah, why not?
So this is for Film Masters, and we previously contributed a short kind of talking head documentary about Jack Arnold to their release of The Swiss Conspiracy. And so they had us do a short video essay for the bonus film on this release, Right Hand of the Devil, which was written, produced, directed by, stars, edited, location managed, hairdressing by the bit player actor Aram Catcher, who's a Turkish actor and hairdresser and artist. And he had a hankering to make a movie, and he raised about 20 grand and shot it over 4 weekends. And it looks fantastic. The cinematography is really good. And it's a really strange, interesting film. And that's just the bonus feature, right? Because it's
Yeah.
Door-to-Door Maniac, aka, what is it, 5 Minutes to Live?
Yep.
Starring Johnny Cash, kind of a crime noir thriller. So I'm pretty hyped about this release.
Release date on this one is August 27th. And on Door to Door Maniac, there's a commentary on there by Daniel Budnick and Rob Kelly. There's also a commentary for Right Hand of the Devil. This is going to be another solid release. Somehow Film Masters keeps absolutely releasing these amazing packages that they look way better than you expect them to, and they're fun movies, and then they choose some pretty great supplements on there to put these films in their context, because a lot of the stuff they've released were like languishing in public domain type of films that never got good restorations, and now it's just somebody that has passion for them giving them love and giving them a solid release. And Stan saying Johnny Cash, and yes, it is the Johnny Cash starring in Door to Door Maniac.
I see there's some 76ers fans in the chat, to which all I can say is I can't do it. I was going to make fun of Joel Embiid's eye. Yeah, good luck with your team.
I don't know anything about these sports.
They're trash. The 76ers are trash. They've always been trash. They'll always be trash. It's a trash team.
All right. Recent watches for me. My big thing this week is last Sunday. We got the Patreon together in the Discord, and we all watched Mute Witness together.
Nice.
And Mute Witness is a damn good movie. I am very, very happy that Arrow is giving this the 4K treatment soon. I really hope people check it out, because it is just a well-crafted film with some amazing plot points that don't go the way that you expect them to. But the biggest thing, like the lighting and the shadow play in Mute Witness is so much better than its budget would tell you that it would be. The movie is, it's one of those movies that is going to keep you like darting your eyes all around every single shot to go like, where is it? And I don't want to say too much if you've never seen it, but man, Mute Witness was so much fun to watch as a group. Everybody hanging out, it's a good time. If you want to get in on it, we watch a movie a month together in the Patreon. Sign up at the link below.
So in addition to being super intense, especially that first sequence, right?
Yeah.
But once it got going, was it not hilarious?
Oh, there was a lot of comedy in it.
So funny. I realized that I cannot be talking trash about NBA teams as disconnected, so I'm going to open another computer up specifically so that I can make fun of the Knicks, the 76ers, and especially the Bucks, who went down gimpy tonight and are out of the playoffs. Celtics are going to win.
The other thing I watched this week, just getting away from the sports.
Sorry.
Monday night, I watched with my mom and my wife. We watched Slashers, the TerraVision release of Slashers.
Cool.
Finally got that in this week. And that movie is, again, kind of like Mute Witness, way better than I expected the budget for that movie to make a movie. And yeah, fun movie. Game show, basically. About surviving overnight, and yeah, it was really well made. Very happy with it. I thought that it was fun. Kept you on your toes. All the stuff that you are expecting to happen doesn't necessarily happen, and it's just like a wonderful release. Tons of extras on that thing. It is well worth your money on that. I am shocked that it is as chock full as it was. It's basically everything you could want on that film, and if you're going to watch it, watch the extended cut. It's a good like 23 minutes longer than the theatrical cut. Just a fun movie. I think it's really well made. Throws a lot of tropes on its head pretty quickly, and happy with it. Yeah. Anything else we want to highlight before we go into the main stuff, Willie?
I'm sorry about the basketball thing.
No, you're not.
I'm not really that. Do you know I had a dream? And this is, I don't know, this might say something about how deeply you and this community have infected my DNA. But I had a dream that you convinced Joe DeMarsico to direct Shelf Shock next year.
John DeMarsico. That's pretty funny.
John DeMarsico. And have like all the transitions and
right. Well, before we get to our announcements, I was going to bring this up in the middle of the announcement since we are going to be covering it tonight. But I might have a surprise guest for everybody. One of the announcements this week that we were going to talk about is a documentary, and it is this Life and Deaths of Christopher Lee documentary that is running a Kickstarter campaign right now. And out of nowhere, welcome to the show, the director of the documentary, John. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, wow.
Hello. How you doing, guys?
Wonderful. Welcome. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me. I'm sorry, it's 3 a.m. in London, so I'm pretty spacey, but I'm going to do my best.
You are great. I mean, this is amazing that we could have you on for this. We're going to be talking about the documentary at length during our announcements tonight, but can you give everybody the elevator pitch on this thing?
It's the long-awaited for documentary about the life and career of Christopher Lee, which has never really happened, which is insane because, firstly, he's one of the most important screen actors, certainly, that's ever come out of this country. Almost 300 films to his name, which is pretty much more than anyone else. He always claimed it was a record, and I'm not going to disagree with that. 8 decades. He started fighting Errol Flynn in Swashbucklers, and he finished in Lord of the Rings. So an epic career. But what a lot of people don't know is that he had the most amazing life before that as well, before he even became an actor. So yeah, it was time to make that movie.
Wow.
Amazing. We've got all kinds of questions coming in for you. Let's see. Sibner says, I feel for anyone collecting all of Christopher Lee's work. You all got to be broke at this point.
Well, I mean, part of the thing is you can't, because even in this day and age of boutique kind of Blu-rays, so much of his work is just kind of missing and kind of mislabeled. I mean, we've got in the movie we interview, amongst other people, John Landis, who was a friend of Christopher Lee's for decades. And, you know, one of the points that he makes is for the kind of decade that Christopher Lee was in Europe. I mean, we've got those amazing box sets from, is it Severin? I think it's
Yes.
Severin who put out those box sets, the Eurocrypt box sets, which are amazing. But that's only about kind of like 10 films, 11 films between them. He was out there for a decade because he could speak
Right.
fluently about 5 or 6 different languages. So there are loads of films that we don't even know about. I mean, this is what Landis was saying, is that, you know, there are so many, he made so many films in their native language that those haven't really necessarily surfaced yet either. So
Wow.
yeah, you can't, I mean, to collect his stuff is kind of crazy. I mean, for the purposes of making the film, I think we probably amassed probably about 150, 160 discs, kind of Blu-rays, you know, just for research and to rip to use in the movie. And yeah, you don't even scratch the surface.
So some of the questions, Sibner wants to know, John, does this go into his top secret work during World War II at all?
We go into it as far as we can go into it. I mean, like, you know,
Right.
we tried to be the people who cracked open the story, but the truth is, it's still, you know, it's Secret Service stuff. It's stuff which this country would deny even happened. He did a huge amount of work like behind enemy lines because this was kind of towards the end of the war and after the war as well, because he was kind of a Nazi hunter after the war, you know, when it was all done. But because he could speak fluently so many languages, and, you know, at that point he wasn't an actor, but clearly he already had kind of certain talents in situations to do that. So yeah, he was on missions, and from what we interview his family and we interview his close friends, and they certainly tell us as much as he told them, which is that, you know, he was involved in targeted assassinations. But there's as much information as we were able to get. I'll say that much.
Wow.
We have somebody asking, what is your personal favorite Christopher Lee performance? Now that you've been
Wow.
looking at all this,
You see, the thing is, before we started the documentary, this is something that I probably could have pulled on you guys as a surprise, but it's been released recently, which I never thought would happen. And it's The Return of Captain Invincible.
ah,
You know that movie? I saw that movie when I was a kid on TV, and for about kind of probably for a good 10 or 15 years, I wasn't sure if I dreamt it. because it never turned up. It wasn't available on any kind of format until eventually I got a kind of ropey American DVD of it and kind of like, oh wow, this actually exists. That's amazing. And it was as amazing as I remember it being. And I love that movie. I mean, it's got a lot of problems, like kind of the way it's put together. The story doesn't make a lot of sense. It's not kind of well directed, but at the heart of it, you've got Alan Arkin as a washed up superhero versus Christopher Lee as the bad guy with songs by Richard O'Brien from Rocky Horror, and it's just like, how could that not be the best film? And the hardest part of making this movie was one of the things about Christopher Lee, which a lot of people don't know, is that his greatest regret was that he never became a professional opera singer. He had the talent to be one, but it never happened. And he always considered film slightly below opera. You know, that would have been his dream, would have been to be an opera singer. And he didn't get that many chances to sing on film, very few. And this film it gave him the chance to take center stage. It gave him one great big song. And that song is my favorite thing he's ever done on film. I just love it. You can see it on YouTube. It's called "Name Your Poison," and it's stunning. And getting the rights to use that clip in the film was so. I mean, that was one of the problems that bugged this whole film, is that his rights are scattered far and wide. A lot of people don't even know who owns what at this point. Even the Hammer films, they're not in one place. They're in so many places. And I said to my producer, "This is my one non-negotiable, is that this song is in the film." And there were so many times that he came to me and just kind of said, "I'm so sorry. I've done my best. We can't do it." And I just said, "I'm not accepting that at all. You have to go back and you have to make it happen." And the very last thing we did before we locked edit is that he finally nailed the rights to it, and we got it in the film, and it made me so happy.
That's amazing. One really interesting thing about this is it's a documentary about somebody who has passed away, and yet you have him sort of narrating his own documentary. Can you explain how you're doing that?
It was a really kind of, I really wanted to do that. The thing is that I'd read his autobiography years ago, and it's brilliant. It's so well written, and his voice is so great. You know, I mean, his written voice is kind of the same as his spoken voice. It's just wonderful. So I had wanted to. In the past, I've been criticized for earlier films. People don't like talking heads anymore. I really like talking heads, but I seem to like have got a lot of flack in the past for it. So I said for this film, because his films are so crazy and so different, like the style of all his films are so different, I said, let's make a film that feels like his career. So it's kind of in chapters, and each chapter feels completely different. So we've got loads of different animators and illustrators. We've got Dave McKean, you know, who illustrated Neil Gaiman's Sandman covers and everything. He did a section just by himself. Like, we gave him the script and gave him free reign and just said, you don't have to, you know, you're Dave McKean, you can do whatever you want. And when it came back, that section was amazing. So I wanted Christopher Lee to narrate it. So originally we were looking at, it was right at the time when kind of deep fake was really kind of coming through, and we did some tests with deep fake, and it felt a bit kind of creepy because it felt like we were making it look like it was his actual words and it was him actually doing it, and that wouldn't have been right because it was a synthesis. Like, it was me going through. I mean, I spent a year in like the BFI archives. Like, they gave me, like, the British Film Institute, they gave me like hundreds of interviews with him, you know, and I had that, and I had all 3 volumes of his autobiography, and I'm a screenwriter anyway, like from way back. So I kind of synthesized it. You know, I did it all in his voice, and I made sure that the narration was his point of view, which the interviews often contradict, which is great. You know, that's kind of how you want it. But, you know, there was this whole thing about how we're going to present it, and when deepfake didn't work out, me and the producer just kind of sat down, Hank, and we just kind of started coming up with just stupid ideas, which is what we do. You know, we just go, okay, what if this? What if this? What if this? And I'd seen some film with marionettes in it recently, and it was beautiful. And I was like, what about a marionette, like a Christopher Lee marionette, and he narrates the film, so people know it's not really Christopher Lee, and yet it kind of fits into the kind of weirdness and the kind of artiness of the film. So we looked into it, and we found this amazing company, Arch Model Studios, who did all of Wes Anderson's movies, like Fantastic Mr. Fox and Asteroid City and Isle of Dogs. They did all of the Dogs and Isle of Dogs. And they've done Tim Burton movies like Frank and Weenie, and they were on Corpse Bride and stuff. Wow. And when we went to Andy Gent, who's the guy who runs it, when we went to him and said, you know, we want you to create like a Christopher Lee, he was just like, sold. Like, I'm in. And they were amazing because they're all kind of geeks, and so they just, you know, we're an indie film with not a lot of money, but they loved the idea of it so much, and they were so wonderful, and they constructed this incredible puppet. It's big. It's a really big puppet. There it is, yeah. And it's really, his eyebrows are articulated, his eyes are articulated, and his mouth's articulated. And it's nuts. So we had to hire like a professional puppeteer who was one of the Muppet guys. He had done like Dark Crystal and had done some of the Muppet stuff, the Muppet movies. And it was a 2-person operation to operate it. And it was amazing. And the puppet is the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. They're so obsessed with their work. They've got there's a department in there where they don't use normal fabric, because if you put normal fabric on a smaller scale thing, you know, the weave is too big. So they make the fabric to hand. So, you know, we were getting swatches of like herringbone, or, you know, his kind of the kind of clothes that he traditionally wore. And they were like, you know, which gauge of herringbone do you want and stuff, all the way down to his shirt. So yeah, we did that, and then we got Peter Serafinovich, who in this country is a very like loved comedian, and I guess in your country he's best known as the Tick and the voice of Darth Maul. He's in Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff, and he's he's better known in this country as a kind of impressionist kind of comedian. He does really good impersonations of all like the Beatles and all of that kind of thing. And yeah, we got him in to do the voice of Christopher Lee, and he just nails it. It's a really beautiful performance.
He is always great on all those panel shows over there.
Oh, do you watch all of that stuff?
Oh yeah, I watch all that stuff.
My wife's American. She's from Texas. She's been here for like 15 years, and there's much she does not understand about British culture. But panel shows is the big thing. She's just like, she really doesn't get it or understand like why that happens. He's amazing on those.
Yeah.
He's to work with him was just like, it was just magical. We had him in for about 4 sessions, and it's hard work because it's one thing to do a kind of quick impersonation, which is like satirical, but the script is actually pretty weighty. It's dealing with it's dealing with his actual kind of loves and losses and stuff. So it's a performance, and that's a kind of different thing. And he had to do a lot of work to kind of get into character and kind of sustain that as well. And he was watching him work was incredible, and he's done beautiful work. And a lot of people, we didn't actually want it to kind of feel, we didn't want it to feel like, oh, this is the actual voice of Christopher Lee. We wanted it, and in fact, there's a thing at the very beginning of the film where I show him in the recording studio, so that you get it, so that you get that we're not trying to fake anyone, we're not trying to pretend.
Right.
But a lot of people see it and they think that it's actually done with the voice of Christopher Lee. It's just beautiful.
This is not like typical Kickstarters. This project is done already, so you're just sort of helping get the word out to the rest of the world. Can you share, like, if you back this right now, when you think everything is going to be delivered for everybody?
It'll be done by December, easily be done by December. And it's not about getting the word out. It's actually that it's almost impossible to get physical media.
Yeah.
To get a project like this sold to physical media now, we're all physical media geeks, and it's been driving us nuts that our last 3 projects haven't come out on physical media. And with this one, we just said, you know what, let's just hold on to the rights, and let's just do it ourselves, and let's go straight to the collectors, and we're just going to do a really good collector's edition. Like, there's a reason it's not being picked up for distribution of physical media. And to be honest, even when the companies who do put these things out, when they give you offers, it's so low. Like, they don't take risks on it. And when they don't take risks, by giving you advances, they don't take risks in actually putting it out there either. I mean, like, the one film I had that got a proper release on Blu-ray and on DVD, because we got such small upfront deals, they put no money into the marketing, nothing, and it just didn't get out there. And they didn't care about, it's the kind of films I make, they're films about films, so collectors would go crazy for them.
Right.
But this time we just said, let's do it ourselves, and let's do it really properly, and we really are. And like the box set, there's a few. You can get the Blu-ray, you can get a deluxe Blu-ray package, and you get a box set. And the box set comes in like a coffin. And the thing that's really special about it is that Arch Model Studios, people I talked about before, they're producing these little death masks of Christopher Lee for it, using the files that they made for the puppet. So you get a kind of Christopher Lee kind of death mask in the box, which is really beautiful. So yeah, that's what it's about. It's about actually getting the Blu-ray made, and we're only going to make as many as, there'll be some kind of surplus, but we're really going to do a one run of this, and it's going to be for the people who backed it on Kickstarter, and that's how many will be out there. So it'll be ultra limited edition, but it'll be really good. But yeah, it'll all be done. Like, our whole plan is to make sure that everyone's got it by Christmas, because we think it'll be a good Christmas present as well. So
amazing. It's
all done and dusted. The film is completely finished. For some reason, it's already shown in Australia, which I didn't see coming. It's not coming out in the rest of the world until kind of nearer Halloween. That people are holding, most of the global distributors are holding it back for that. But yeah, you'll get. I mean, we interviewed John Landis, Joe Dante, Peter Jackson in New Zealand, Harriet Walter, who's a really respected actor. She's in Succession. Really respected actor here, and she was Christopher Lee's niece, and they were very close. So the Blu-ray will have loads of extra interviews, loads of extra stuff in there, and it'll be something that collectors and people who love Christopher Lee will really value.
I think that's what many of us are collecting recently, with him getting so much love over the last few years.
It's so good. It's like a golden age. It's such a shame that he's dead, because he would have loved it. He would have loved to have had this stuff resurrected. Yeah. And I mean, those box sets from Severin, those Eurocrypt box sets, I mean, that's just next level. That's something else. And we worked with Jonathan Rigby, who helped on those. He became a consultant on the film, and he's doing an essay for the book, which will be in the box set as well. So it's proper proper Chris, if you're a Christopher Lee fan, you're not going to want to miss this, and you're definitely not going to want to wait for the second market because it's very limited edition. Give me your money. Go to Kickstarter now. Search Christopher Lee. I'm here for your money.
Even better, I put the link in the description twice for everybody. It's in the chat. Open it in a new tab. Go check it out. Please consider donating. The amount of work that went into this is insane. There are friends involved. There are lots of people that appreciate the work of Christopher Lee and those that are trying to save the legacy for a lot of this. And just obviously, this was a ton of work. So thank you, John.
Man, thank you for having me. This is just it's an absolute thrill to be here.
Well, it's middle of the night, so we'll let you get to sleep. Thanks for your time, John.
Okay, take care. It's good to see
Have a
you,
good night, sir.
Take care. Bye.
See ya. Oh man.
Well,
That
a
was
treat.
awesome. Yeah.
I was just scrolling through the premiums. They look great.
They're incredible looking.
So I had no idea that was going to happen, and of course I can't see text very well on the screen. So when he popped up, when he popped up there, I thought that it was Joel Spira who invented the light dimmer. And I was like, holy shit, you got the guy who invented the light dimmer on the show? What the hell?
Man.
But then, of course, I realized that Joel Spira is dead. And it was John. And his work is much more relevant to the show.
I did not mean to put you on the spot. Let me zoom out. I had this all prepared. So if you want to take part in this, the price on this, if you want to get at least the Blu-ray, it's 30 pounds. That's for the base Blu-ray. If you want to go up to the deluxe Blu-ray package, it's 60 pounds. And then they have this giant set that is crazy. All comes in a coffin, comes with a death mask and everything. That's 120 pounds, but it is a pretty crazy set for an icon that a lot of us love. So if you are interested, check it out. Don't want to sound like we're hawking it too much, but this is an important life work that doesn't get enough attention put into it, and it's crazy because it's Christopher freaking Lee. Like that's a big deal. And beyond that, this is somebody that's clearly passionate about it and put a ton of work into it. The names involved in the documentary side, he mentioned some of them. Whoops. But just looking at some of these, Peter Jackson has interviewed John Landis, Joe Dante, Harriet Walter, Carolyn Monroe's on there, Jonathan Rigby, who is super deep on the Severance sets and has done a lot of work for it. Consider taking a look and backing it if you're into it. These campaigns are sometimes a little risky, and some people don't love doing them, but it's all done. So there's a lot less risk there because people are, basically just helping with distribution and paying for the physical perks.
Yeah, based on the premiums, the price looks really reasonable. And I think somebody already said it, but that something like this is an actual collector's edition.
Right. Actually limited edition.
Yeah. It's not a special edition, it's a collector's edition.
I'm sorry for putting you on the spot, but that was pretty fun.
Yeah, so cool. Totally unexpected. You said there might be a surprise, and I was like, you got actually.
I got the inventor of the light dimmer.
The light dimmer. I swear to God, what's funny? I actually thought that.
Who knows who invented the light dimmer? That's what I'm baffled by.
Well, look, I'm not an expert on Christopher Lee, but I know a lot about lighting fixtures. I think, and you have to if you're going to teach film.
I don't even know what to say at this point.
I don't know how to work lighting in my own space.
It's true.
But if I had a dimmer, I'd know how to work that.
We are officially almost an hour into the show and have not shown one announcement.
God, well, most of them suck. Let's just skip to the good ones.
Are you like playing the role of Facebook comments?
I don't know. I've never been on Facebook before.
What a privilege that is.
But I said, well, people are always surprised when they learn, like, I think they gloss over it in the social network, don't they? Like the origin of Facebook, what it was originally for.
No, they don't gloss over it at all.
Okay. I don't think they linger on that enough, that one of the 10 most powerful men in the world is a misogynistic creep.
I mean, that's kind of what the whole movie's about, though.
Yeah.
Anyways, hey, let's get to some announcements. First up, we got Arrow this week. They are releasing a Loop Track from 2023 in the UK only on Blu-ray on July 8th. This is one that sounds pretty dang good. We got some extras for this since this is a brand new film. The crew and the cast is heavily involved. This looks like a pretty decent one. Yeah, Sivner says, Will, did you see the opening scene of The Social Network?
But it's so much more than that. I don't feel like they went into it enough.
The whole film is he's the enemy in the entire film.
Okay.
Anyways, so that's Loop Track. Sounds pretty decent. Good hiking movie.
Go post your complaints on Facebook.
July 15th, the UK is getting The Last Starfighter on 4K and Blu-ray. This was released previously in the US. Now, the odd thing about this UK release, it is missing a couple special features. So if you want the full complete package because you love this movie, it was still the better option to import the US release. But at least you have an option to get it natively in the UK now. Any thoughts on The Last Starfighter, William?
I want to say I was on the show when either the Blu-ray or the 4K US release was announced, because I recall saying it was one of my very first theatrical experiences. I was like 5, and it freaked me the hell out. I like ran out of the theater. The aliens scared the shit out of me. But I've seen it since, and it's very charming and a true milestone in the development of CGI. Okay, Michael Smith got a good one in. I like that. That's a good roast. That's a good roast. That's a good roast.
For those listening on the podcast, Michael Smith says, also, little known fact, Oppenheimer invented a huge bomb. That was really great. God, that was funny. And then we are getting on July 29th in the UK and July 30th in the US and Canada a Blu-ray collection of Nico Mastorakis films. This is going to have The Time Traveler, Sky High, Terminal Exposure, Glitch, Ninja Academy, and The Naked Truth. And there are just tons of extras on here. So many that I had to not include many listings on here. Nico Mastorakis, this is one that Arrow's put out a handful of his releases already, and a lot of people seem to be fairly cold on him. How do you feel about Nico?
Best goat sex movie ever. The Island of Death. Yeah, I can see how he wouldn't be everybody's cup of tea, but I find him very interesting, and his films pretty fun. Zero Boys, good stuff. .com for Murder, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I'll definitely be checking it out. I kind of hope this is the final artwork. I like that it looks like an animated epic. I think that's pretty funny.
Yeah, the first thing I thought when I saw this cover is there a Ben-Hur ripoff in this?
Yeah, Nico Mastorakis, Ben-Hur. I'd like to see that.
Rodney says, well, it's only the third best goat sex movie in my book. Oh, man. Then they announced The Man from U.N.C.L.E. This is coming on 4K. This is on July 29th in the UK, July 30th in the US. Tons of special features, new audio commentary with Brian Reisman and Max Every, new interview with the co-writer and producer Lionel Wigram, new interview with the actor Luca Calvani, new featurette celebrating the original 60s TV show and its influence on the 2015 movie. with a handful of individuals, some other new featurettes, and of course a collector's booklet by Barry Forshaw. This is a big deal because this is the first title in a brand new Warner deal with Arrow Video, and the implications of that could be quite big. Warner has a massive library of titles that could do very well under boutiques that they are not putting time into. And I really hope people support this so that we do see some flourishment from that.
So I got a funny story.
Okay.
So my sister Georgia, who's an editor in Hollywood, California, and who just edited the Disney movie Madhu, which is now available on Disney Plus. No, come back. I'm talking to you.
I know this is fun.
I'm not going to tell the story.
Oh, you suck.
We're a team. Well, anyway, so she goes out to the movies one fine evening in Los Angeles. And who do you think she ran into?
I forgot about this story.
She ran into Jeremy Long. And she'd never met him before, but I put him in touch on, Instagram, and she'd seen a picture, and he's kind of unmistakable. So she approached him, which I know was probably nerve-wracking to be approached by a woman. In particular, because she's 6 feet tall. So it's like, oh my gosh. But anyway, so they talked, and she sent me a picture. She was like, hey, guess who I met? And they were at Stan's met Georgia. So they were at a movie theater, and so I said, well, did you get a chance to chat with them? And she was like, no, we were going to different movies. And I go, I'd bet you $100 it was a shitty movie. And see, my sister and I are very different, but in some ways we're very similar. So I go, I bet $100 it was a shitty movie. And she goes, oh yeah, it was some Guy Ritchie thing.
Oh man. Well, we got to pause because this one's important for Will. First off, Nicomedes, thank you for the donation, and he wants to highlight this comment. Huge without irony fan of Nico Masterakis, still trying to get Jess Franco. So from one Nico and Franco fan, how do you tell a Nico Masterakis fan to get into Jess Franco? What is the one film that might convince a Nico Masterakis fan to come to the dark side?
Succubus, maybe, which languishes on a standard Anchor Bay DVD that's out of print. Devil came to Akasaba.
I don't even think I've heard that title before.
I don't think I'm saying it right, but it's one of the best of the Soledad Miranda movies, and it's kind of like it's a spy caper. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely like them in very different ways. I don't know that there would be a lot of overlap.
What about that Blu-ray of The Girl from Rio that Blue Underground just did?
Yeah. It looks great. Girl from Rio is not what I would not that would not be my starter pack for.
What about flipping it? What is somebody getting into Nico Masterakis? What should they watch first? I'd say the Zero Boys probably.
Yeah, Zero Boys with Kelly Maroney. I mean, I go all in with Island of Death though.
So yeah, that's Arrow for this month, and man, the comments were out in full after these Arrow announcements. So many people saying nothing for me again. Arrow has been awful this year, and I just don't get it. First of all, Arrow's announced some pretty incredible titles. Some of the stuff that I already know that they have coming in the coming months that haven't been announced yet are gonna blow some socks off of some people. But I gotta highlight just some of the random things people say. Like, I think it was Sibner just today telling me about how you'll see somebody say something like, this label has been awful this year, and somebody else says, well, you have all kinds of labels to choose from, go buy from somebody else, and they say, oh, well, there's too many. That's not a good response. Like, figure it out. There's taste out there for everybody.
Well, because there's so many, I'm grateful when a month comes and a label has a slate that I don't want. So, like, for example, I don't think I'm interested in any of the slate of Arrow films, but last month they put out Mute Witness on 4K. So as far as I'm concerned, they've got my goodwill for the year.
Last year they announced it. It's about to come out.
Oh, it's not out yet? Well,
nope.
I'm going to get it.
I'm excited for The Man from U.N.C.L.E. because I haven't seen it yet, and I'm glad they're doing it. Carrying right along, though. Oh, I forgot. There is one more Arrow. Howard Hawks, Redline 7000. This is coming July 30th in the U.S. and Canada. No UK.
This is the best release of the month.
I was going to say, clearly you want to say something about this one, so tell me about it.
Well, it pisses me off that the way they hype it is by saying, oh, this influenced Quentin Tarantino. It's Howard Hawks. You don't need to say anything else. It's Howard Hawks. And it's a Howard Hawks film that's been impossible to get for years. So I'm very excited about it. I've never seen it. I'm totes excited.
I will say our friend of the channel, Mr. Howard S. Berger, is thrilled about this, primarily because he has a new visual essay on this.
Yeah.
About the filmmaker, it's just on the film itself. It's supposed to be great. There's a new interview with the assistant director on this, that new visual essay. Another new visual essay by Kat Ellinger. So this looks like a pretty big deal sort of release.
Yeah, and this is later Hawks, so it's kind of an under appreciated period of his career, because a lot of late career films for longtime studio directors were kind of their weaker films, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad or not worth taking a look at. So I'm very enthusiastic about this release.
Is this the last Howard Hawks?
Could be.
I think about it, and I think so. All right, moving on to the next one. Imprint. Good God, Imprint. I forgot this was this week because this feels like it was weeks ago already. They announced a film. Oh, Rio Lobo was last, 1970. Thanks, David. Harvey Keitel film focus box. This is coming on Blu-ray from Imprint on July 31st. Includes Bad Lieutenant, The Young Americans, Dangerous Game, Imaginary Crimes, Clockers, and Holy Smoke. This is massive.
Yeah, that's great. If it wasn't for the fact that some of these are already available in other editions, like the Bad Lieutenant 4K that's coming out, and
Clockers is already out.
Clockers is out, and Dangerous Games coming out. But yikes, that's a good looking set.
Lots of new extras, big booklet, and it looks amazing. I mean, it's Harvey Keitel, so not much else to say. There's new extras on literally everything in this box set.
Oh, let me ask you a question. So I'm looking at Dangerous Game, for example, and it's like all these new interviews. Are those on the Vinegar Syndrome as well, or are they really different? Are they really?
I would have to look. I don't think they had been announced yet. I think Justin just revealed the extras on Instagram.
Dang.
Like this week. So it's possible that they're crossover. It's possible that they're not.
Well, that'll tell us a lot.
Then, after this film focus box set, they also announced Smoke and Blue in the Face, just in case you didn't have enough Harvey Keitel. This is also coming at the end of July. This is coming in a 2-disc and 2-case hardbox release. You got, again, all kinds of new extras. And you got the first film and the sequel, and no Will. This looks like a pretty solid addition, too. I know at least a handful of people that are picking up both of these just because they love Keitel so much. Oh, wow. Tony says, holy smoke, had some scene shot in my street in Sydney. That's awesome. Will went out for a smoke after all the smoke talk. That makes sense. Yeah, so again, 2-disc hardbox, limited to 1,500 units. And imprint was not done. They also announced Men of Respect with John Turturro and Rod Steiger. This one is also coming in July 31st on Blu-ray. This is the first time it's been on Blu anywhere in the entire world. Now, the hard part about this one is a debut on Blu, but it has no extras, and they're not even announcing any. They're just saying, here's the film, and good luck with it.
I will always check out a Macbeth adaptation. You know,
I will. Go ahead.
Oh, this is a total sidebar. If you're going to say something about Men of Respect, go ahead.
I was just going to say I will check out almost anything with Peter Boyle.
So I was sitting down, and I remembered to turn my microphone back on.
Good job.
But it reminded me that I forgot to say when we were talking about the visual essay for Right Hand of the Devil that I had to redo it.
Tell the people why, Will.
Because I sent Ryan an 11-minute long version of John Cage's 433.
You sent me a completely blank audio file and said, get to work.
Get to work. And it took me a lot longer than 11 minutes to record that silent track because I kept redoing it. But then I finally finished.
I felt so bad letting you know that it was messed up because you would put so much time into it.
A couple hours.
Imprint also announced 8mm. This one also has a release here in the States, and there's nothing new on this compared to that one. This is going to be the same exact transfer. Yeah, this is just for different regions, which is great. Everybody deserves a release, and if you love Cage, you might just want every version of it for some reason, or you might just love Imprint and want everything from Imprint. So there you go, another great addition. I like 8mm. How do you feel about 8mm?
Well, it's a very different kind of Lost Boys and girls. Yeah,
all right. Yeah,
it's okay. Actually, I don't think I've seen it since like VHS. I should probably watch it again. Do like Joel Schumacher is whatever you think of him as a filmmaker. If you did like random Joel Schumacher double features, like pulling titles out of a hat, you can get some of the most like jarring juxtapositions, like DC Cab, 8mm. I kind of want to do that. Have like a Joel Schumacher double feature fest.
Have Joel Schumacher July, and it's just every single Friday night in July, just random draw out of a hat.
Yeah, Batman Forever, 8mm. Just have 8mm as the.
It's always the midnight show.
Yeah, I want to see this movie again. I remember it. I remember not being super into it, but I also think at the time I was getting kind of. Wasn't it written by that guy who did Seven?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
I remember at the time I was kind of down on that dude.
Well, and also this is at the end of where like everybody was starting to get kind of turned off by Nick Cage because he was really starting to be everywhere in a lot of these types of films, and people were just kind of like, yes.
Nick Cage was not the problem with this movie.
I agree.
Andrew Kevin Walker, that's his name. So, like, I can't see the screen that I'm looking at, but then I have it on my TV behind me, and I can see that fine. Got these messed up contacts. This is not good for a film guy. I can't see anything.
We need to get you quadfocals.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like Aldous Huxley, looking at movies with a mic, with a what are they called?
Magnifying glass.
What are they called? Good God, sound like the Little
So,
Mermaid.
Will just had a stroke.
Up where they breathe, up where they run, up where they stay all day in the sun.
When do we get the full length version of that? Exclusive for the Patreon.
Oh my gosh! Well, that'll be a premium. Dodson sings Disney. Dodson does Disney.
I'll make a music video with images from Mandy.
You call it Dodson Does Disney Princesses. And
can we rethink that title, please?
Nah, that's what I want. And I'll do all the songs.
Wow. All right. 8mm is also doing The Juror from 1996 with Demi Moore and Alec Baldwin. And once again, zero extra features on this.
The Rural Juror.
Oh, man. I don't think I've seen this one.
Nope.
Have you? No? All right.
No, this was like... Yeah, this was like during that period of time where Demi Moore was in like every thriller. And it was like, what was that? Indecent Proposal? Was that her?
I don't think so.
No, that's somebody else. But like, oh no, Disclosure. And then Striptease. And then The Juror. And the...
Oh no, Indecent Proposal is her.
An Indecent Proposal? Yeah, yep. just so many. Back to back, and she's great. I always liked Demi Moore, but that period, that the '90s thrillers that populated video stores, I just never. I actually, Imprint is really doing a service with like their neo noirs, after hours sets, and stuff like this, because they're blind spots for me. And I keep discovering, like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this guy directed, this, what looked to me to be a by the numbers thriller.
I love these like 90s erotic thrillers or 90s more adult tinged, like dramatic thrillers. Brian's calling them 90s video store movies. I love them. They're all trash, but they're all amazing.
Murder of Crows with Sandra, what's her face? Bernhardt. Bullock.
Sandra Bullock says it's Pacula adjacent. That is it for good God, man. For Imprint for this month. But lots of stuff coming from them. Some big titles. This was a big month for them, especially to get all that Keitel all at once. For any other label, that would be enough to say, like, all right, that's enough. But no, they're doing a bunch of other releases too. That's crazy.
So much Keitel. And The Juror.
I love that as Alec Baldwin is facing legal challenges, we're releasing a film starring him called The Juror.
Is he in it too? I think so. Yeah, I can't see the picture. Yeah, that's really sad.
Kino announced that they are releasing the Columbo The Return set. This is spanning from 1989 to 2003. This is coming on July 16th. They say more details TBA, but unless they're including all of the extras from the first set that were supposed to be on there, it's probably not going to be a whole lot.
That would be appropriate for The Return.
It would be.
Return of the extras.
Yeah, this is cool. You're going to be able to get your full Columbo share.
I started watching Columbo. I think I told you last time I watched the first two pilot movies, and now I'm going to start, I guess, the show proper.
How do you feel?
Well, let me tell you, if I had killed someone and made the perfect murder, I would find him very annoying. Very annoying.
Next up, Kino announced that they are releasing film noir The Dark Side of Cinema 20. This is coming with Captain Carey USA, Appointment with Danger, and Make Haste to Live. I got some big names in this, but primarily Alan Ladd is in a couple of these. Stephen McNally. I've not seen any of these. You seen any of these three?
No, these are all new to me, which makes the set very attractive. You know, especially when they go on, sale for $22 or whatever.
The price point could be appealing at that point. Yeah.
I do have a goal of getting all. I think we're up to 21 now, right? They also
we're about to show that. Yeah,
I have a lot to say about that one, but I have a goal of getting the complete set, just so that I can have it behind me to vex you.
All the spines almost identical. Looks like you're lost in a sea of noir,
and you're like, that's not even really noir.
Yeah, I can't wait till we get to volume 30 and it's just adult noir. Anyways,
there'll be a lot of plays on Double Indemnity.
They also announced coming soon film noir The Dark Side of Cinema 21. This one has Cloak and Dagger, Shack Out on 101, and Shortcut to Hell. This is a big one.
Yes.
You guys have big names in this. Gary Cooper, Lee Marvin, Robert Alda,
Keenan Wynn.
Yeah. This is one that people got excited for this weekend.
Jimmy C. Don't forget Jimmy C. James Cagney, baby. Yeah, I mean, Cloak and Dagger, Fritz Lang movie. That's all really you need to know. It's not, his top tier, but it's very solid. I haven't seen it since, I was a teenager, so really stoked about that one. But the big title is Shack Out on 101, which is not so much a noir movie as an anti-communist propaganda film with Lee Marvin and Keenan Wynn, and it's a thriller, but it's inexplicably punctuated with humor, and it's like physical humor. Like when you tweeted this announcement, I linked to a YouTube clip of a hilarious weightlifting session with Lee Marvin and Keenan Wynn lifting like tiny dumbbells, and and it's hilarious. Shack Out on 101 is a marvel. It's a fascinating movie, and it's Lee Marvin is so great, and he's pretty young in it. This is one of his earlier films, around the time of Wild Angels. So yeah, the set's worth it just for Shack Out on 101, and the fact that Cloak and Dagger is in it as well. I'm not familiar with what's the other movie? Shortcut to Hell.
Yep.
Wait, James Cagney directed it?
Sure did.
Okay, well then this is probably the most important release of the second most important release announcement of the night. Yeah.
All right. Going to the first most important announcement, July 30th, Wilgo is releasing Alienoid Return to the Future from just this year, 2024. And previously they had released the first movie in this franchise, and you can pick that up on Blu-ray now.
I don't know what that is.
No, of course not. I was kidding about it being most important. Michael Smith says, Will, do you get any feedback from students about 12 Angry Men? I watch reaction videos, and everyone that has watched it raves about it.
You know, I don't think I've ever shown it. No, well, I know I've ever shown it in a class, but I think now would be a good time to add it to the syllabus. Yeah, I don't know. There's reaction videos to people watching 12 Angry Men. That's amazing. I'll have to look that up.
All right.
Interesting idea.
July 9th, Vertical Entertainment is releasing Fast Charlie from 2023 with Pierce Brosnan and Marina Baccarin. From the director of Clear and Present Danger and The Saint. Charlie Swift is a fixer with the problem. The target he's whacked is missing his head, and the only way Charlie will be paid is if the body can be identified.
So they don't have DNA?
Not at all.
But he's got the body, he just doesn't have the head?
Correct.
But they do DNA.
Craig says, FYI, if this guy's ever that color, shelter.
For sure. But I'm confused by I remain confused by the premise of this movie.
Criminals don't have DNA testing.
You 23andMe, you get it back in like 2 weeks.
That's a long time to get paid. I mean, labor laws in California are strict.
This film is suspect.
Next.
Wait. It says keep your friends close and your enemies dead. What a pithy bit of advice. Oh, this is. I'm gonna write. that sounds like the title of a book that would be on, like, if books could kill. You know that podcast?
Of course.
Yeah.
I feel like you kind of want to write a visual essay about this.
Well, it'd be about DNA testing.
DNA and this poster, and it would be like 34 minutes. Next up, Curzon over in the UK on May 27th is giving maybe my favorite Bong Joon-ho film, ? On 4K. They are releasing Memories of Murder. This is the film from 2003. This was released on Criterion, not on 4K. So considering this is out there as a 4K release, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Criterion releases this on 4K in the next couple years. Their Blu-ray release wasn't all that long ago, though, so maybe they hold off a little bit on that one. But the big thing, lots of people asking on the revisionist color timing on the Criterion release, and see if that holds over on this. I'd be interested to see, but also I don't think it affects it all that much for me. Did you ever watch Memories of Murder there, Will?
I picked it up when Criterion put it out, but I actually haven't watched it yet. I've seen Parasite and The Host.
I love both of those. I pretty much love everything he's done, I think. All right. Next, Samuel Goldwyn Films is releasing The Three Musketeers Milady on June 4th. And Eva Green, and this is a Vincent Cassel right there.
Huh.
This is an awful poster, I will say.
What the hell is it? What was part one? I missed it.
I'm not entirely sure.
It's a lot of numbers there. The Three Musketeers part one, the Three Musketeers part two. I don't know. There's something about it that.
I kind of wish that. Go ahead.
Well, I've always been confused by the Three Musketeers because there's four of them. And I know technically D'Artagnan's not in the club.
He's earning his way, yeah.
But he's always there. And I'm just like, it's the Four Musketeers. And do they even have muskets? I don't recall muskets at any point. It's like those little rapier things.
Anyways. Sivner says, Will, can we hear you say "milady" in the most aristocratic voice possible?
Aristocratic. Milady. That's the closest I can get to Jerry Lewis.
That was something.
I see. Dave Jane says The Three Musketeers: D'Artagnan was released 2 years ago. I missed that one. And so now
D'Artagnan was just a mouseketeer, says Stan. All right, moving right along to some more important films. July 2nd, Shout is joining the party with a Blu-ray release of Who's That Girl from 1987 with Madonna and Griffin Dunn. This says extras in progress and will be announced later, meaning like 4 days after it ships from their factory. Who's that girl, Will?
I kind of feel like this could be even more of a nightmare for Griffin Dunn than After Hours. You know, like in terms of the complications that he's about to get involved in. I've never seen Who's That Girl. I recall the song and music video fondly. I think that this is going to be a good excuse to see Who's That Girl, which, as I recall, did not get amazing reviews, but was it fairly, I feel like it was fairly successful, commercially, if not critically.
Ish.
Yeah. I know Desperately Seeking Susan. I like that movie. Okay. So Who's That Girl just wasn't part of my experience. But yeah, I'd see this.
There's all kinds of movies that are about your experience that we're going to be talking about in just a second.
Can we tell them that we're doing the commentary? That's one of the extras in progress.
You can. It would be lying, but you can.
That'd be funny. I'd like to do that.
Yeah, that's not us. We're not on any Shout releases. Shout is giving a wide release to their 4K steelbooks of Point Break and Weird the Al Yankovic Story. These are coming on July 2nd. You can buy them anywhere that sells Shout Studios. These were exclusives to Best Buy and Walmart, respectively, and now you can get them everywhere. They're also doing the same for Natural Born Killers, all coming out on the same day. Same discs as the last time, nothing special. But how about this one, Willie? Dark Angel, also known as I Come in Peace, coming on 4K on July 9th.
I hope it's reversible artwork because I love the title, I Come in Peace, which sets up one of the all-time great movie endings, which of course I won't spoil. I Come in Peace, which is how I've always known the movie, is one of my favorite Dolph Lundgren movies, and that's saying a lot. I'm the proud owner of 46 Dolph Lundgren movies in my collection.
How do you know that offhand?
There is a reason I know that, but it's a story. I'll save it for next time. Make a segment for Dolph Lundgren next time, and I'll bring a prop. But anyway, this came out. This is around the time of all of the truly great Dolph Lundgren movies. Showdown in Little Tokyo, the Mark Lester movie, the best Punisher movie, where he fights the Mafia and the Yakuza at the same time with Louis Gossett Jr. And I Come in Peace, not to mention Masters of the Universe. This was a great period for Dolph Lundgren. And this film has the best elevator pitch in the world. Dolph Lundgren fights an alien drug dealer. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. He fights an alien drug dealer who can only say one line in English, I come in peace.
Which, by the way, I believe the title screen used on this release is "I Come in Peace." So it's
Good.
odd that they go with the title on the front of Dark Angel.
Good. And I love the tagline, which, like the Fast Charlie, makes no sense. It's not a close encounter. It's the last. Those two, close and last, are adjectives that have nothing to do with one another.
Well, you heard what Ricky Bobby said. If you're not close, you're last.
Yeah. I guess he wrote the tagline. That Craig asked if I Come in Peace is better than Showdown in Little Tokyo. Good question. Because Showdown in Little Tokyo pairs Dolph Lundgren with the late, great Brandon Lee and Tia Carrera, who is great but not late. And it is fantastic. It has some great fight scenes. It has Brandon Lee looking at a naked Dolph Lundgren and saying, "You have the biggest dick I've ever seen on a man," which is the weirdest thing. I think that all things being equal, I got to give the edge to Showdown in Little Tokyo. But I Come in Peace is right there. It's so fun. And we haven't even talked about this 4K thing because, of course, I've already got the Blu-ray release. Will this upgrade truly be an upgrade, or will it make things waxy? What's going to happen here?
It should be a proper 4K restoration.
Anthony asks if I'm telling anybody to upgrade. I'm not telling you to upgrade. I'm probably gonna. But if you've never seen it, I highly recommend it.
This looks like a solid release.
Oh my gosh. I just want to say so many lines, but I don't want to ruin the movie for anybody.
One thing that's cool is they're not saying extras will be announced later. They did announce there are, the archival extras that they're pulling over, but also a new interview. This is a piece called "Go in Pieces: Remembering Dark Angel," with new interviews with cinematographer Mark Irwin, editor Mark Helfrich, actor Brian Benben, and special makeup effects artist Gabriel Bartolos.
Okay, well, that's probably enough for someone like me to go ahead and pull the trigger.
All right.
Y'all, he sucks. He's got this device that sucks people's like pituitary glands or something and uses it to make his drugs. It's awesome.
Let's get into what is maybe the most exciting announcement for many people this week. Storytelling from Todd Salons is getting a Blu-ray release from the Shout Select line on July 9th. There's a lot of people, really hoping that this leads to more Salons coming. This is coming with the new 2K scan from the Inner Positive, approved by the cinematographer. We've got a new interview with the cinematographer, Frederick Elms, on the disc, and then a new interview with the composer, Nathan Larson. The alternate censored scene from the theatrical cut of the film is included in the extras. So that looks to be the one.
So you get blurred and unblurred?
Correct.
Wait, so blurred is now in the movie and unblurred is an extra that you can be like, hey, you know what? I want to see this blurred.
That's how I'm reading it, yes.
That's very uncomfortable. Which is how I respond to the question, how did you like that Todd Solondz movie? Is it Salons or Solons?
Salons. And wasn't it not blurred, but a big red square?
Yeah. So you got that's so funny. So only it's an extra by itself.
It's film archival.
Let me see that scene again, but with a red square. Oh yeah, this is definite.
How do you feel about the Salons oeuvre? Are you thinking that we might get more now, or how do you feel about this?
I love Welcome to the Dollhouse. Happiness made me very queasy. Storytelling, I was like, oh, you know. So I'm about to, and what, Life is Beautiful? That was pretty good. I haven't seen Wiener Dog yet. Is that all of them?
If not, it's getting very close.
I will say that he gave one of the greatest Conan O'Brien interviews I've ever seen in the late 90s. Definitely worth hopping onto YouTube to find that interview. The way he says chitty chitty bang bang, just the way he says it is the definitive way you should hear the title, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Yeah, you know, I think it's about time for me to do a complete chronological rewatch. So if it is true, the rumor that Happiness will be coming out soon, then I'm obviously going to pick up the storytelling. And I recently got the Radiance release of Welcome to the Dollhouse. So, and I've already got the Criterion Life is Beautiful. I just haven't watched it yet. Wait, not Life is Beautiful. That's that fucking Italian movie. Is that Life During Wartime? Is that what it's called?
I think so, but I love this community so much. As you talk about this interview, somebody just posted the link to the interview in the Discord. So if you want to look at the interview with Conan O'Brien with Todd Salons, please join the Patreon. This group is so great.
Thank you for correcting me on Life During Wartime too. That would be hilarious if somebody was like, "Oh, Life is Beautiful. Let's check that out." And then
what is this, Roberto Benigni?
It's like, wow, this is really off brand for salons.
It's so positive and upbeat. Yeah, this is potentially a big deal. We shall see what happens. But the whole Todd Salons saying that Happiness is coming on Criterion, that's been rumored for quite some time. So hopefully that either comes to fruition or somebody else gets it sooner than later, because there's a lot of people waiting. They
put out Romeo and Juliet, so obviously there's not a content issue.
Good call there.
Just a little child abuse joke.
Yeah. Next we move to Ollie G into House, the movie. What a transition that was. Shout is giving this movie the Blu-ray treatment on July 30th, and you get Sacha Baron Cohen as he's supposedly like on the verge of being canceled.
Is he?
I guess. Like supposedly Rebel Wilson just said something about him being a dick, and then out of nowhere, he and Isla Fisher breaking up is supposedly because there's more stuff about to be made public about him. I don't know, but
I mean, are we shocked that he's a dick?
I mean,
I don't know why everybody's like, "Oh, what a surprise!"
How many people did you hear say that about him?
I don't know. I never think about him.
I can tell.
You know what's funny though?
This movie.
So my dissertation, which is a really fun read, but my dissertation is actually not in film studies. It was on neurological memory and its applications to language acquisition. I know everybody's like super excited about what's going to come next. Well, anyway, I used extensively a researcher in synesthesia. Synesthesia, where your senses kind of mix up and you like your colors and stuff like that. Well, the researcher that I used is named Simon Baron Cohen. And I remember when the Borat movie came out, I was like, wow, that's Sacha Baron Cohen. This is Simon Baron Cohen. Wouldn't that be funny if they were brothers? And they are.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah. He's one of the top researchers on synesthesia, neurological
what
disorder. Simon Baron Cohen. Oh, wait, not brother, cousin. Sorry, cousin. Sorry, Simon. Simon, if you're watching, my bad, dude.
I mean, still, Wild.
Cousin, yeah. Let me make sure that's corrected on the podcast, not brother, cousin. But yeah, they're cousins. So
there's
I
that.
don't. Yeah, I mean, I've seen Ali G, and I don't really get it. Like, I don't know how anybody could be pranked by that.
A lot of people are pretty stupid.
Well, and I watched the Borat stuff too, and I'm like, okay, wow, you found a racist in Salem, Virginia. I grew up near there, dude. I could have told you that without wasting your money setting up a camera crew. Yeah, I don't. If you like Ali G, then this release is for you. But it's not my thing.
Dallas says, I heard Ali G and my dissertation, and then the stream froze for a minute. So did hell. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Ali G's cousin is a real smart guy.
That is so weird.
Just to be clear, this is ginger and what is like ginger tea.
All right. They are also releasing on July 30th House of Gucci from Ridley Scott on 4K. Just randomly, a couple years after it came out on Blu-ray. Any thoughts on Ridley Scott or this, Will?
You know how I feel about Ridley Scott.
All right, on to the next one. I
would love if he were the cinematographer on like every great movie, but I wouldn't let him near a script. And I think what's been happening to the Alien franchise is a good indication. I haven't seen House of Gucci, but every time I hear the title, I think of that rap song by that what's her name? The Gucci rap song.
I don't know.
You don't know it? She was in with Odd Future and stuff.
Don't got me.
Oh no, she was good. Not good enough for me to remember. Apparently, Krayshawn.
Oh,
you don't
yeah,
remember
I didn't know that name.
Gucci. There's something else for you to put up in the Discord. Krayshawn video.
Somebody's already linked it. Don't worry.
It's actually kind of cool because it's got all the Odd Future guys before they got super famous. Tyler the Creator and Haji Beats and all them.
All right.
Domo Genesis. I'm down with the.
You want to finish that sentence?
Golf Wang,
Oh, Will.
Yeah, my review of House of Gucci is Golf Wang. I haven't seen it. I don't know anything about it. Ridley Scott, I don't care. Do you know who hated? You know who hated Napoleon?
Go ahead, Will.
That Succession guy who also hated the Bible. You know what I'm talking about?
Not even a little bit.
What's his name? Brian Cox or something?
Oh, yes. Brian Cox is in that.
Yeah, he said that Napoleon was dreadful. Didn't he?
Oh, I don't know.
Pretty sure.
This is a weird tangent. All right.
We're talking about Ridley Scott.
I get it. Hey, how about Phantoms? And all kinds of jokes about Ben Affleck coming in the comments. July 16th, Shout, as part of the Scream Factory line, is releasing Phantoms on 4K. This is their first release of this, so it's not a 4K upgrade. Phantoms.
I saw it. What's her name's in it from Scream? And Grindhouse.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, Rose McGowan.
Rose McGowan's in it, right?
Yep.
I don't remember this being very entertaining. I was kind of bored when I saw it.
I think that's the case for most people. If I remember right, it does have a decent creature.
But it's like early CGI creature. I don't know. I'm sorry I'm causing the show to drag with my memory lapses, but yeah, Phantom's cool. I'm glad it's out. People can see it if they want to.
Once again, extras in progress. We'll hear about them someday. They're doing a Blu-ray steelbook of Evangelion. I don't know how to read this properly. Is it 3.0 plus 1.11 thrice upon a time? That's definitely wrong, but I've never watched the show.
About this, so.
Yep. But the big deal for the G-Kid stuff, they are releasing The Boy and the Heron. This is coming on 4K in steelbook and a standard release. I got the standard art here as well. You'll be able to get this from Shout/G-Kids, and it's got some extras on it. It's going to come with Dolby Vision. That's a big deal for an animated film like this. We've got great looking audio, full surround. You've got interviews with the composer, producer, animation supervisor, storyboard reel, drawing with Takeshi Honda, Spinning Globe music video, teasers, trailers. There's a lot in here. Boy and the Heron, this is a big deal for Shout to be able to have this in conjunction with G-Kids in 4K. Happy they got this. This will probably sell like absolute gangbusters for them. I
enjoyed it. Yeah, I think I mentioned last month or a couple months ago, I took my youngest daughter to see it in the theater, and we really enjoyed it. Just totally trippy. I have no idea what the hell it's about. But like most non-anime people, I like Miyazaki. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like if you love anime, you love Miyazaki. But if you don't love anime, you still love Miyazaki.
Yep.
And a couple of years ago, you remember they put out that like super limited box set of his complete works? And then there were some like counterfeit versions.
Yep.
So I got a real one. And then I also got a counterfeit one. And the discs looked fine. You know, like I went through them all and I was like, well, these look good, you know?
Were they pressed or were they burned?
Pressed. But it didn't have, there were some other identifying things in the box that it didn't have. So then I ended up, but the disc looked good. And I'm not like a big collector of anime. I mainly had it because I occasionally teach a course on anime, which you wouldn't think I would do, but I do. But it's on like the origins. So it's like 1945 to about 1996 or so. And so I ended up selling the real box set and like doubling my money and keeping the fake one.
All right, Will.
Yeah.
So next we are away from Shout, and tomorrow pre-orders begin at 12 p.m. Eastern for the next Air 4444 bundle. Uh-oh. This is going to include The Crazy Family, the Makuro trilogy, and Red to Kill. This very limited bundle that's only limited to 500 copies. If you want the whole shebang, everything is $150. You get 5 slipcovers for 3 films, 6 stickers, 3 lobby cards, 3 keychains, and 3 double-sided posters. I am eager to get in Red to Kill. Are you looking at any of these, Will?
Well, I was just looking at it and comparing it to like the RoboCop 2 bundle.
Well, we are about to roast Shout because we're not done with Shout yet. There's still one more title that has a bundle. Yeah,
I'd like to work for them someday, so I don't know that I want to be associated with it. But so like some of the like those extras look great and everything, but some of them don't. Some of them don't make sense to me, like on a functional level. So like if you get double-sided posters, like do you rotate to like every 3 months, or you're like, okay, I'm going to turn this poster around?
I mean, most people have a problem even putting them on the wall.
Right. And then 5 slipcovers. Do you every now and then like, you know what? I want to refresh the slipcover, put it back on the shelf. there's some functionality things about these collectibles that I don't resonate with. They may be like super exciting for other people, so I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, like, for me, I'm like, well, what do I do with these extra slipcovers? Do I put them in a drawer somewhere and occasionally look at them and think, oh, this would look nice? I don't know. Is it like fashion show where I'm like, I'm going to put you in this slipcover and I'm going to put you in that slipcover? And then look at the 2 slipcovers.
Or you buy the movie again and put it in your other slipcover so you have both of them on the shelf.
Second copy. I'm interested in all 3 of these movies. I don't know that I would get the bundle necessarily. Although now I do kind of want to do a slipcover fashion show and like record it and have you put it on the channel or something.
Make a little runway and everything.
Yeah, do like a America's next top slipcover.
Oh gosh. No, it would be Region A's next top slipcover.
I do. I want to say up front, I do pay a little extra to get slipcovers now. It wasn't something I ever did before, but in the last several years, I've become a slipcover aficionado. I wouldn't say enthusiast, but aficionado. I'm like, if I'm going to get the release, I'll go ahead and get the slipcover. That being said, whenever David Gregory from Severin makes fun of like the cardboard wars, I agree with him. It's pretty funny.
Humboldt Horror Honey says slipcovers are Barbie dresses for dudes.
They're action figures, not dolls. Yeah, exactly.
So the thing I alluded to, Shout is also releasing UHF on 4K on July 2nd.
Oh no, is this what you're going to make fun of?
It might be. First off,
I love UHF.
It says extras in progress and will be announced at a later date, so they might get something new. And yes, I love UHF as well. It's an incredible movie. However, let's discuss this monstrosity. So if you buy it from Shout Factory and are willing to pay them an exorbitant amount of money, looking at this, Will, how much do you think you would pay for what this is?
$169.99.
I mean, that's very close. Did you go look at the answer?
No, I really did just guess based on previous box set releases.
No, it's a discount then. It's a little cheaper. It's $130.
Okay.
So the funny thing is, the bundle with all of this, and let's go through what it is real quick so that we can make sense of these. You get the movie with the slipcover and the poster like you do in the regular bundle. You get an additional slipcover and an additional poster just in case you want doubles of those. You get a 2.5-inch by 3.5-inch prism sticker that is a, quote, retro prism sticker because they're all retro. A 5x7 UHF Smell-O-Vision sticker set, which that's kind of cool, I got to admit. A 3-inch by 3-inch Spatula City collectible resin fridge magnet. That's a 6-inch UHF remote control stress relief collectible. And then a Shout Factory and Gutter Garbs teaming up limited edition collectible enamel pin set. This bundle is limited to only 500 units. Now, what's crazy, the bundles here, the one with everything is $130, like I said. But if you just take the pins out, it goes all the way down to $76.
Those pins are made of platinum.
So the pins alone are $54.
Do you know what it should be? You should pay $130 for the movie, and when you ask what the extra items will be, it's just a video of Getty Watanabe going, "You get nothing."
So to make matters worse, they are selling that one pared down bundle where you only take out the pins, but then they're also selling another bundle where you take out the resin magnet for Spatula City and the squeeze toy, which is literally like a dog toy. They're pricing that $24 cheaper. So you get the smell-o-vision thing, you get both slips, you get both posters and the sticker, and it's 53 compared to 76.
Yeah.
It is so crazy how much they're putting a price on these things. A squeeze toy and a magnet is $23?
No, it's not.
For a squeeze toy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you buy this, you're a certain kind of person.
And that's okay, I guess. Like, I love Weird Al. Like, a part of me thinks some of this stuff would be fun to have, but not for those prices. A squeeze toy is literally like something you buy from the mall for like $4.
As you say, Sibner said, Scream Factory is just Spencer's gifts.
I couldn't even see the comments. I was over on the Scream Factory tab still.
Ragnar pointed out that Severin started with the extra crap, but the pricing for the Severin crap is generally, I mean, sometimes it's ridiculous and I don't do it, but
Severin the opposite. The releases are super expensive and the extras are pretty affordable.
I still have my what did it come with? It's like the brain that you squeeze.
Oh, what release was that? I remember that now.
I actually use that stress reliever. I squeeze that brain all the time. And I got my changeling bouncy ball.
The red and white ball is rad. It's so heavy.
It's totally worth $54.
Bouncy ball was literally, they sold it for $3 at one point.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously this is ridiculous. And the only thing that really matters is, what happens to UHF with a 4K transfer? Because it's not like a film in which the cinematography is the striking part of it, right? So,
I mean, it is a colorful movie. That's the biggest thing. The HDR upgrade will make this look beautiful. And it will go up in resolution, guaranteed. So this will be probably a pretty strong upgrade.
We'll get to hear an enhanced version of Victoria Jackson's voice.
Yep.
Hey,
go ahead.
Did you know that Victoria Jackson turned out to be kind of political?
I did not.
Yeah, she went full MAGA.
All right. Moving right along.
All right.
July 16th, Sony's releasing a steelbook that is a 4K upgrade for Captain Phillips. Speaking of politics. I don't think there's any new features on here. I think everything on here is archival features, and I've never seen this movie, so I don't know how much to say about Captain Phillips.
The experience of this movie was so harrowing that Tom Hanks went on to be a Greyhound driver. It's like, I'm never sailing again. After Castaway and Captain Phillips, he's like, keep me on dry land. I'm driving a bus.
Ryan says we're all the captain now. Next up is that campaign that we talked about earlier for the life and deaths of Christopher Lee. Just a reminder, if you weren't here at the beginning, we talked with the director of this documentary. You can check out the Kickstarter. And once again, if you were looking for the link for it, I will share it here in case you want to open it in a new tab. There you go. Check it out. Looks really great. Also, this week I had an interview up on the channel with Ryan Luis Rodriguez from the One Track Mind podcast and the Reels of Justice podcast. One Track Mind, I feel like, is a podcast that many people that watch or listen to this would appreciate. They bring on a guest and they discuss a commentary track in every single episode. And so we discussed commentaries on this. He gave 5 of his favorites, talked about what makes a good one, what makes a bad one. And yeah, it was a pretty interesting conversation. Check it out.
Tell them not to ever do one of ours. That would be very. Don't do it. Going back to Captain Phillips, though, I actually kind of want to see that movie. I never saw it. I think Craig just said it was pretty good.
So did Stan.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, those are 2 recommendations I would trust.
Craig says surprisingly good. Stan says it's great.
I was not aware of this podcast, and now I'm going to subscribe.
It's pretty fun. I did an episode on it a few months ago on After Hours.
Yeah. Oh, I got some shit to say about that movie.
Next up is some indicator announcements, including one that Will is incredibly excited about. This one, Indicator is releasing Bruiser from 2000 on 4K and Blu-ray. This is only coming in the UK. Unfortunately, this is a George A. Romero film starring Peter Stormare, Jason Fleming, Leslie Hope. If you've never seen it, this says, unhappy with both his home life and his career, Henry is plagued by violent fantasies. When he wakes up to find his face replaced by a featureless mask, he sets about exacting violent punishment on those who have wronged him. This one will have an audio commentary with George A. Romero and Peter Grunwald from way back in 2001, an interview with George from 2014, new interview with Jason Fleming from just this year, interview with Dr. Chud, the former Misfits drummer, talks about the band's appearance in the film. And then Kim Newman comes on to talk about Bruiser within the context of Romero's career, which is important. It's a late Romero film for sure. And then we've got an 80-page book with the new essay by Craig Ian Mann and some archival interviews and magazine articles and stuff like that. This is going to be 7,000 individually numbered units, 5,000 4K, 2,000 Blu-ray. Those are all in the UK. Will, tell them why this is important while I go grab a bottle of water.
Okay. Well, I think I told this story before, maybe a year ago, but worth revisiting. George Romero came to Charlotte, North Carolina in 2009 for a retrospective. They were releasing Diary of the Dead, I think, had just come out. And Michael Felsher actually was the facilitator and MC. And he had Romero do Q&A for every film that they showed. And it was like a dozen movies. I saw Night, Dawn, Martin, Crazies, Jack's Wife, a.k.a. Season of the Witch, Knight Rider. No, I don't think Knight Riders was there. Or maybe it was. Anyway.
No Day of the Dead?
I don't think Day of the Dead was on the docket. It might have been, but maybe I didn't see that one. Anyway, each one I went to, I would ask George a question. And the last question I got to ask him was after seeing Jack's Wife, Season of the Witch. And I asked him if Bruiser was the male version of Season of the Witch. And he looked at me and just kind of looked at me for a second. And he leaned in and he was like, well, yeah, I guess that sounds right. And I got to talk to him, in the autograph line and stuff like that. And he was so gracious, so nice to everybody. I had never, gone to anything like that before or gone through. That was like the first autograph. That was the first autograph line I ever went through. And I get to him, I'm like, I don't want an autograph. I just want to tell you, you really influence how I see, communication and human relationships. He was like, okay, whatever. But anyway, when he passed away, Monstrum, which is this academic journal it's an open access, so you can go see it on their website. It's a journal of horror and Gothic studies, edited by Chris Wolfter, my friend who did the Toby Hooper book with me. He organized a retrospective of essays on every Romero film and television production. Kind of a what do you call that for a eulogy? Yeah, eulogy of Romero, in which we go through the whole filmography. And so I wrote about Season of the Witch and Bruiser, and that essay is up online if anybody wants to see it. Bruiser is I don't think it's anybody's. It's definitely not ranked as top tier Romero, but I think it's really important, especially in his later career, because it's not just about how this guy, and it's very deliberately about this guy who's got a traditional idea of what masculinity is supposed to be, is this professional, as a breadwinner, as a husband, etc. But it's also very much about just navigating the power structure of capitalism, right? And who said it? Brad Henderson wrote a really great essay about Bruiser too, that he just posted a link to on Bloody Disgusting, so you can see that as well. It's much shorter than my essay, so it might be more entertaining to read. But anyway, Bruiser is a film that I've been waiting for. It's one of the last. Is it the last Romero film to get a release?
To get an HD release, that might be the case. I can't remember if Survival made a Blu-ray or not.
Survival has a Blu-ray.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can't even believe it's got a 4K. And it's available at Diabolic for a very reasonable price. So I'm definitely ordering it. Super pleased about it. I love Bruiser. I think Bruiser is really important.
Night Riders definitely has a Blu-ray release, Ragnar. It's on Shout Factory.
It's 27 for the 4K at Diabolic.
The 4K is only 27?
Yeah.
Good God. That is.
Maybe I was looking at the Blu-ray, but I thought it said 4K. Double check.
I am pulling it up as we continue to talk about this. I don't think I've ever seen Bruiser start to finish, actually. So I definitely need to check this one out again soon. Romero's just, I don't know. There's something special about some of the films, and then other times it's just like, well, that hurts. Diabolic, the 4K is 33 and the Blu-ray is 28.
Oh, I was looking at the Blu-ray. Whoops, that's still not too bad.
Still, 33 is great.
Now, there is an extra that was on the DVD that is not on this release, and that is George Romero directed the video for the Misfits song Scream. That does not appear to be on this release of Bruiser. However, I don't think it's a big deal. You can see that on YouTube or something.
Ragnar says, why did I have to separate the Blu-ray from 4K? These companies are milking us. First off, just from behind the scenes, it's definitely not about milking. It's absolutely a cost thing. These would be a couple, definitely at least $3 or $4 more expensive if the Blu-ray disc was included in here. Authoring on one disc is not cheap. If you're just buying straight discs like at cost from some companies, 4K discs alone are a good $7.50, $8. Blu-ray disc, you're looking about $4 or $5-ish, and that's not making any money for them. So yeah, for them to be able to charge less, there's a reason for that.
I have nipples, Ragnar. Can you milk me?
All right. Michael says, if you can wait, these usually end up on Hamilton book for about 25. While that's true, this one will not, because it is a UK only release. So you will not see this on Hamilton book for $25, unfortunately. All right.
There's more good stuff from Indicator.
More good stuff from Indicator. Next is Single White Female. This is an incredible film from 1992 with Jennifer Jason Leigh and Bridget Fonda. No new extras, I don't think. Oh, sorry, there is one. She'll Follow You Anywhere. The critic, broadcaster, and author of unlikable female characters, Anna Bugutskaya, dissects and contextualizes the film within the context of the erotic thriller. And then there's new subs on this, and then a booklet with the new essay by Georgia Humphreys. Anna Bugutskaya is great at what she does, but Single White Female, just amazing. I love this movie.
Yeah, Barbette Schroeder is, well, like I was saying before, with the thrillers and erotic thrillers of the 90s, so many like great, art house directors kind of went Hollywood in this genre, and Barbette Schroeder is one of them, along with John Schlesinger, who I think we're going to talk about later, right? Yeah, Single White Female. So it's the same transfer as what Shout has, right?
It should be, yeah.
So the only difference is this Anna Bugutskaya piece, which might be worth it. I don't know.
Anna's pretty great at what she does.
Yeah, if you don't have the Shout, I think this is probably the one you want to go for then. If you do have the Shout, then I don't know.
Good movie though, and
oh yeah, man, spiked heel to the eyeball, and talk about my type. I just kept falling in love.
Oh, Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Yeah.
Then July 22nd, they are releasing Untouched only in the U.S. This is from 1954 with Ricardo Montalban, directed by Roberto Gavaldon. This one has a commentary with Mexican cinema specialist David Wilt, interview with Viviana Garcia Bisnay, the great niece of the producers of this and founder of the Permanencia Voluntaria Film Archive. And then we've got the writer, TV host, and passionate film historian Rafael Avina delves into the world of acclaimed the director Roberto Gavaldon. There's a lot on this. The big thing, though, is in the UK, they were not allowed to release this uncensored, and they were not willing to release it censored. So they said, fine, we will go to the US. They are not releasing this in a... Basically, they're not going to kneecap this release just to make sure that the certification in the UK would go through, and that is fantastic. I love that they're doing this and that they said it so publicly.
Can we linger on the cover art for this? Like, you don't need to know anything else about the movie. If you look at that cover, you probably want to see the movie, right?
Looks pretty great.
You got boobs. You got man boobs, and you got a rattlesnake.
And a guy wrestling with it.
Wrestling with the rattlesnake, which is probably a metaphor, but I bet it also happens in the movie. Look at that. Was she on a hammock? She's just watching that guy fight a snake. She's like, I don't care. I'm on a hammock.
So on the website, specifically, it says, please note that Untouched will only be receiving a release in the US and Canada since the BBFC have requested cuts to the film for UK distribution. It is our belief that from the perspective of film heritage and preservation, it is best to present this and all of our titles as they were originally intended to be screened.
And you got to wonder, like, what are they trying to cut?
It's a good question. Got to watch it to find out. It's got to be some sort of animal cruelty, probably. That's the big thing with the UK.
That's not fun.
I mean, I'm only saying that because he's holding a snake. a very Freudian snake.
I hope it's not that.
That would be my first guess. I'm
Well,
not
it
entirely
looks
sure.
like she's wearing a Freudian slip. You know what? That was a good one. I don't care what
It
anybody
was a
thinks.
good one.
That was
That's
pretty
I had to laugh for a moment.
good.
Hey, we're getting Twister on 4K in the US here from Warner Brothers. This is coming on July 9th in a 4K steelbook. No word on a standard yet. This will have a new featurette called The Legacy of Twister. And it is going to have Jan de Bon discussing the groundbreaking film. And man, I am not super impressed with the art on this thing.
It looks like Mad About Moo.
I guess we're just on pun night now, which I'm all about that.
I still have never seen it, so
it's not a great movie, but it's a very entertaining movie.
I remember about a year ago, I was on here and I revealed I'd never seen Twister, and you were like shocked to the point of stroke.
I'm not shocked by anything from you anymore.
You don't even like movies.
No, I don't. Not really. And never mind. I'll keep my mouth shut for what I was going to say. Blue Underground is releasing The Million Eyes of Sumeru on 4K coming soon. This is from 1967 with Will's favorite Klaus Kinski and Frankie Avalon. We got no more details, but this looks like a solid follow-up to The Girl from Rio.
Well, it's not a Franco movie.
I know, but they're very stylized similarly. By the way, they were meant to be released on the same day. This got delayed.
Yeah, because they were originally a double feature Blu-ray. And a couple months ago, when we were doing First Some Watches, I mentioned I had watched Million Eyes of Sumeru because I had just gotten the 4K of Girl from Rio, and I wanted to see if I needed to keep my Blu-ray of the double feature. And I watched Million Eyes of Sumeru and was like, I don't need to keep it. But now I'm probably going to get the 4K of Million Eyes of Sumeru because it does look terrific. And it is fun, you know, another breezy spy caper. And George Nader is very droll. You know, he was very close friends with Rock Hudson and the executor of his estate. And, yeah, he's very stylish and cool. Frankie Avalon is ridiculous. And Klaus Kinski, he stylized his performance. Okay, if you ever wanted to know what Klaus Kinski's sense of humor was like, watch this movie, because he stylized his performance in a way that he thought would be super funny. And it is. Not necessarily in the way that I think he might have conceived it, but it is very, very funny.
Well, if you needed more of a reason to check this out than that, this is from a 4K restoration of the long lost and recently found OCN that includes 10 more minutes of footage that was missing from the previous release. 10 more minutes.
Yeah.
So now Will has to buy it.
I'm definitely gonna. Yeah.
September 4th, Umbrella is releasing this giant bundle for Late Night with the Devil from this year. There is going to be a lot of goodies with this. You've got a VHS containing the 1977 Night Owls original broadcast cut that is not on the Blu-ray, only on the VHS. Really. There is a replica TV guide press kit with articles, ads, and featurettes, a 48-page artifact put together from the team behind Late Night with the Devil, custom designed rigid case, 8 art cards, a reversible poster, and then they've got some extras on here. Will, you never got around to seeing this one, did you? And Will's gone. And so I did see this. Did you get around to seeing Late Night with the Devil?
No, not yet, but it's on Shudder now. I'm going to watch it this weekend, I hope.
Yeah, this is a huge bundle. I liked this movie when I saw it in the theater, but I've gotten quite cold on it since then. Not that I hate it. I just some things some things bug me more now that I have had time to think about it. But if you love the movie, this bundle is pretty rad, especially if you want to go all in. Of course, if you don't want to, they do have a set, so you don't need the VHS and all that if you don't want to get everything. Umbrella tends to be pretty great about giving you options. The glasses. What are we trying to read?
Some of the comments. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it.
I think you'll like parts of it a lot. Yeah. Then Warner Brothers is releasing the New Adventures of Batman, the complete collection, June 25th. This is also coming with The Dark Knight Revisited as the lone special feature. This is one of the originals. We got Adam West and Burt Ward doing the voices on this.
When did this come out?
This is, oh gosh, I don't remember the year of
this.
this.
Is this from the 80s or something?
Yeah, this is an older one.
Oh, I remember this. I remember that animation from when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, they're giving all kinds of love to the Batman animated stuff.
That was around the time of like Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends and all that stuff, right? Yeah.
The VHS is PAL format, Anthony. That is correct. Next, we've got a 4K of Purple Rain. Currently, this is only coming in the UK and some other European countries, but this is the best looking release we have at the moment. This is July 29th in the UK. We got a 4K Steelbook and a standard. There is technically no confirmed release in the US, but the odds are looking like we will get a release in the US. We have no idea about release date. It'll probably be July 30th, but I will do my best to confirm that as soon as possible. Everything on here is archival as far as I can tell, and I hope it looks great. I kind of wish, I got to be honest, the cover for this and the Steelbook, I wish they didn't go so far with the purple tint. Not everything on this poster originally was purple. Like the lights on the motorcycle originally weren't purple. But yeah, they tinted everything.
I think that looks great.
It looks decent. I just want the original.
I got you. I still have a snap case of it, so this will be a nice upgrade for me.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
No new extras, dude. Purple Rain for everybody.
Yeah. But that's not the most exciting announcement from Umbrella this week.
From Umbrella?
What did I say?
Well, this isn't from Umbrella. that was a weird.
Did you finish Umbrella already?
They only had one announcement, except for the one that came out through OCN.
What about Darling?
Darling was weeks ago, my friend.
Fuck! I wanted to talk about Darling. That was weeks ago? I thought that was brand new.
No, sir.
It's been exciting. Who got to talk about that?
I don't even remember.
Shit. I'm done.
It was such a loud interjection.
End the show. I'm done. I'm done with this whole place.
You're so pissed off about not being able to talk about Darling. That's the funniest thing here.
Yeah. Oh man, I thought it was going to get Darling. I don't know why I thought it was this week. Maybe I've just been so excited about it that time has collapsed.
Well, we have earned that explicit tag tonight, folks. Well done.
I explicated. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. We've explicated many times. Hey, let's talk about something that could be pretty interesting. MVD announced a partnership with Brian Usna and John Penny. Brian Usna and John Penny have created a label called Dark Arts Entertainment. This will be their new motion picture distribution company in North America. And it says this exciting new venture promises to bring a fresh perspective to the genre, delivering quality, marketable features and multimedia projects tailored to today's discerning horror audience. And then MVD went on to say, MVD is thrilled to be partnering with Dark Arts Entertainment, and we look forward to bringing not only their carefully curated slate of new films to the market, but also some of their great cult classic catalog titles as well.
Does that mean Fantastic Factory?
I think it's on the table, potentially. But the thing that a lot of people have been worrying about for like 3 years since Yuzna said he was working on a 4K restoration, it appears Arrow probably does not have 4K rights to Reanimator anymore. So this could be where we see Reanimator come from.
Well, I want Doberman. No, not Doberman. I want a Rottweiler. His Yuzna's Rottweiler. And also Faust and all that shit. Beneath Still Waters. Like all the Fantastic Factory movies. That's what I want.
We shall see.
I feel like I need to explain myself. I love Darling.
Why don't you go ahead and give us a breakdown of Darling for the next 2 minutes?
I don't want to be. Yeah.
You're a spotlight. Everybody loves you. You're everybody's favorite.
You did that. You did that to
Every
Brad.
Will is somebody's favorite.
Brad didn't like that either.
Yeah, but it's funny to poke that bear.
I'm not a bear. Well,
both of us at the same time. That sounded like I was telling a story. Anyways.
I'm a hairless bear. So I've been told.
Somebody's going to clip that and then follow it up with you yelling fuck.
Well, I don't. Well, I was in a space. I was in an emotional space,
and that's fine.
John Schlesinger, Julie Christie. It's one of the great '60s movies. Just so beautifully shot, wonderfully acted. Julie Christie, yes, she's a star. She's a goddamn star. And I love this movie so much. And I've been waiting forever. There's an out-of-print DVD that I've never been able to get a copy of. So I don't have this movie in any form. And the fact that it's finally coming out is such a big deal. Like, I want to weep for joy about Darling. And I don't know why I thought somehow that time had collapsed and Darling was an announcement for this week. Because I know I missed a couple of Thursdays over the past month.
Ronnie says, I remember you talking about Darling in the chat last week, Will.
Oh my God, you announced it and I was on the show? Like in the chat? I must have blacked out. Not for substantive reasons, but I don't know. For some reason, I just thought it was happening.
Oh, this is amazing.
I just love that movie so much. Like, I can't wait to see it again. I'll probably be disappointed. I'll probably be like, this is not as good as I remember. All right, just go on.
Craig is implying that you've had too much juice.
No. I've turned over a leaf. I'm just tired. I really want this Yuzna thing to work out. I love Brian Yuzna so much. Have I told this story?
I'm not sure.
Have I told my Brian Yuzna story? Well, I wish. Can I send you an image to put up?
I can try.
All right. Well, I have to find it. So let's move on, and then we'll come back to Brian Yuzna.
Well, the big thing, this could have lots of implications. There could be a lot of Yuzna titles that they have.
Yeah. Sweet.
Especially if they put out like a 4K of Reanimator themselves, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Taking that kind of a title away from the other boutiques, that would make Dark Arts be a household name for sure. Any other thoughts on Yuzna other than the picture?
It's going to be worth the wait, dude. I'm going to tell you that. I can tell you that for sure. I love Brian Yuzna so much.
You said you turned over a new leaf, and Sivner says, and you found booze under the leaf. Michael Smith says, was a bottle of Jack under the leaf.
Wow.
Dallas Jones says that leaf was a cocktail garnish.
Gosh. Remind me not to ask any of you to be my sponsor. Hurtful. This will be worth doing, but we should continue with releases and just come back to Yuzna.
I mean, the next thing is OCN, so it's a big deal. Okay, we'll start with OCN. Hey, from the Vinegar Syndrome site, you can now order Riddle of Fire. They have been hyping this up since last year. This is coming. Yellow Veil and Vinegar Syndrome work together to produce this film. This is a newer film, and this was made in 2023, and it's supposed to be pretty great. Reviews on this have been like overwhelmingly positive. It's got a lot of pretty great extras. It's coming out under the VSP line. It's got a 24-page booklet with an essay by Ariel Esteban Calle from Connie releasing. And yeah, I'm excited to see this. It looks really damn good.
Yeah, based on the trailer, that seemed like the kind of kids movie I could really get behind. I had never heard of it, so that was just super strange and interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. But the rest of this stuff is partner label stuff, and I know a lot of people were kind of shocked by it. So a reminder that this month is the Vinegar Syndrome Halfway to Black Friday sale, and so they don't release new Vinegar Syndrome stuff at the beginning of the month during their sale months. That will come out during the sale. That will be the weekend of Memorial Day. It will start on the Thursday before. That is on the 23rd of May, and the sale will end on the 27th of May. And it's going to be a lot guaranteed. Oh my God. I just got Will's picture.
Don't show it until I tell the story.
I don't even know if I'm allowed to show it.
You can show it.
Okay. You gave the YouTube permission. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so I love Brian Yuzna. Right?
Yes.
And in my cult films class, I always do a whole unit on Stuart Gordon, Brian Yuzna. And I show something from Gordon, I show something from Yuzna. I usually show Reanimator, but I also mix it up a lot. And Society by Yuzna, his first film as a director, is one that tends to be very popular. So, and I do a whole thing about how rich people suck and all that. So this is a couple of years ago. It was just after the pandemic restrictions lifted. I had gone to an ale house, this place called McCool's, an Irish pub, authentic in Greensboro, North Carolina, authentic Irish pub. And I was meeting a friend of mine there. And he's a prison warden. And like one of his arms is bigger than both of my legs. Like the guy's just like, he's a prison warden. And but he's also a philosopher. And so we talk a lot. We read books together and think big ideas and drink beer. And we're sitting there in the corner of the bar, not bothering anybody, just having our time together. And I hear, Dr. Dodson, just off to the side, and I look up, and this bearded, long-haired fella is like rushing towards me. And I'm like, what the hell is happening? And my friend, the prison warden, who is like genetically trained when he sees somebody moving quickly towards him to like put them down. Like gets up, and when the guy got close, I recognized him. He was a student of mine from several years ago, and he was coming up to say hi, and he said, what did he say? He's like, man, you changed my life. Check this out. Can you show the? That's his. He pulled his shirt down and he'd gotten the tattoo. This tattoo inspired by Brian Usna's Society. For those who listen to the podcast and have seen Society, this is the post-shunting butthead figure, and it's photorealistic, and the text on top says, "Fuck you, butthead." And he has that permanently on his skin for the rest of his life because of the experience that we had together. And I'm so proud.
I don't even know what to say to that.
That's probably the most impact I've had on this earth.
All right. So Canadian International Pictures is re-releasing the Amityville Curse with a alternate slipcover. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that, Will.
I like Brian Usna.
Yeah, I totally get it. So this is like I said, a re-release. This is just a second slipcover. This isn't anything special for the film or anything like that. It's the exact same thing as previously. However, they're doing something pretty cool for everybody. This is 50% off for the rest of this month. So if you want this, you can get this. Unfortunately, they're not selling the slip by itself. So if you want the film and the slip, you can check that out and get it for cheaper. And they're trying to make they're trying to make a plea for if you already have the film and you just want this new slip, buy it and give the second disc to a friend.
Yeah, that's the curse. The curse
is you have to get it twice.
Yeah, well, you inflict that movie on somebody else.
And when you pass it to them, you have to say 7 days in your scariest voice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is better than like the recent deluge of Amityville adjacent films.
Wait, you think this is better than Amityville Karen?
I have to assume. I'll say this, because I do have it and I have watched it. This is my least favorite film that Canadian International Pictures has put out. But it's okay, I guess.
I am not surprised. All right, going to the next one. Now, these are all the brand new releases. First, Shudder has been announced as a brand new OCN partner label, and their first title is Brooklyn 45 from 2021. And this thing sold like hotcakes. The slip on this one is long sold out already.
Damn it, man. People got to get paid.
Sorry. You might recognize in the middle on the top of this slip, that is Sir Larry Fessenden. It's a big deal. I'm glad this is getting a Blu-ray release. This is a 2021 film. We get a feature-length audio commentary by the director and writer on this. We've got a 30-minute behind-the-scenes making of the film. There is the full feature-length film professionally recolored in black and white, which is brand new for this release. Detailed production notes. But the cool thing is Justin LaLiberty did reveal in the Discord that they are working on some other upgrades to some other previous DVD-only Shudder films. And I know that some people were like, hey, maybe we can get Speak No Evil to get a Blu-ray release finally. And his response was, I wish we could. So it sounds like that one is probably a no. Maddie says, wasn't Shudder with RLJE previously? I mean, they might still be with RLJE. Just because Shudder is a partner label here, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're done with RLJE. They could have different rights for different types of films. Yeah, This is a fun looking release, and I know Shutter's got quite a bit of exclusives throughout the years that could do pretty well. And it's mostly going to be modern horror probably because that's what Shutter puts out. This is a good title to start with. Any thoughts?
What else did he do? Did he do the? Oh, Speak No Evil, what you just said, the Barbara Crampton movie.
Speak No Evil is not Barbara Crampton. That was from.
Which one is she? Which one is that?
That's Jacob's wife.
What?
Barbara Crampton and Larry Fessenden, is that the one you're talking about?
No. The newer Barbara Crampton movie.
Suitable Flesh?
Oh, right. That's not him, right?
No. No.
I don't know. Great. Great. I'm just not going to say anything else. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Oh, man. That was not meant as a dig or anything. Yes, the slips for this are all gone. There are some standards left, but only 370, but it's not limited. Those will come back.
I share not an aversion, but a lack of connection to post like 2000s horror movies with Erica. Like we have that in common. And
I understand.
I'm gonna see this.
Revenge has many Blu-ray releases already, Chris. I doubt that is going to be coming. And When Evil Lurks already has a Blu-ray release, so I doubt that's going to be coming. Next up is... I went the wrong way. Next up is Game of Pleasure from VHS Hitfest. And if you like this slip, sorry, Will, this one is already sold out as well.
What? It's only the second. It's the third. Oh, well, it's after midnight. Jeez.
So this one sounds pretty damn interesting. It says the largest computer gaming firm in the country has just completed its latest and possibly greatest virtual reality game, Pleasure. But the erotic program has a deadly computer virus that meshes the realms of reality and fantasy when its host, Vixen, played by Tammy Parks from Attack of the 60-Foot Centerfolds, takes the player into a journey through the senses. Play at your own risk. This blends horror, sci-fi, and erotica in a late 90s virtual reality-infused melting pot that is impossible not to enjoy. This one is coming with some new interviews. We got an audio commentary with the director and the producer, behind the scenes, deleted scenes, alternate scenes, raw footage, all kinds of stuff in a wonderful VHS Hitfest package.
Another tagline that I find kind of ridiculous: a sexual experience played at your own risk. It's like, yeah, that's what they are every time.
And on top of that, this release is a whopping 63 minutes long, just so everybody's aware.
A full 6 times longer than the guy needed.
I didn't know he could hold out that long. All right, next, Dark Star Pictures put out The Old Ones from 2023. This is the weird-ass looking slip for this one. This says, in 1930, Sea Captain Russell Marsh saw the light, and for 93 years, his body was not his own. That's an interesting way to start. But this one stars Kelly Maroney.
He saw the light?
Are you going to start singing again?
Was he wrapped up like a douche? Is that why he didn't have control of his body?
Well,
is that what happened?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. This one, we got a director's commentary, making of, deleted scenes, special effects, makeup, test footage. Looks like a pretty standard Dark Star release. A lot of theirs get a little bit samey.
Well, you know, love Lovecraft. You know, that's maybe it's good. Who knows?
I'm not saying it's not. Yeah. Next up, Streetwise from Decanalog. This is from 2021. They've been doing a couple more like out of nowhere titles for them, which is pretty cool. A bracingly bleak neo-noir soaked in sinister atmosphere. Na's feature debut focuses on Dong Ji, a 21-year-old debt collector making a dishonest living in the bustling criminal economy in the Sichuan province of Zhenwu, all while aspiring to a better life than which his ailing ex-gangster father has lived. Boasting a crack ensemble cast, brooding nocturnal cinematography courtesy of DP Li Jianyang, and an insider's understanding of small-town claustrophobia, Na's sleek neo-noir established him as one of mainland China's undeniable emerging talents during its lauded festival run. We got an interview with the filmmaker. We got a booklet essay. We've got English subs, of course. This one sounds pretty damn great.
Yeah, that one looks pretty intriguing. Again, don't know it, so we'll have to go in blind.
This one's 93 minutes at least. Next, ETR Media, Enjoy the Ride, is putting out another package of YouTube documentaries on cult movies, cult movie shows, and classic comics. This is another one of the Slopes Game Room compilations. This one has all kinds of episodes on it, including things like Saw, and it's a very ETR Media type of release. It's also got, they're claiming, the world's first Blu-ray 3D maze game. Super interesting thing to claim that you are going to have on your disc. Curious to see how people respond to that. Next up is Vacation from 2011, coming from Factory 25. This one is an existential beach party movie about life, death, sex, and drugs. When four college friends reunite for a girls' week at the beach, it's all bikinis, pina coladas, and dance parties at first. But the But the fun soon fades away. After procuring a psychotropic drug from a sketchy surfer dude, the girls take a very strange trip into the abyss. This one has deleted scenes, miracle bowel cleanse infomercial. That was weird when I read that the other day when it was announced. Commentary by Zach Clark, and then a 20-page booklet for this one. Very Factory 25 release. You are muted like crazy.
A 28-page booklet is for the bowel cleanse.
Reservoir Fella says Will hears YouTube documentaries and then just straight leaves.
You know what's funny? That's true. That's what happens. I was like, this is a chance for me to take a pee break.
Oh, man.
I mean, I'm sure they're interesting. I just don't know what they are.
I get it. Film Movement announced what is quite possibly one of the most interesting announcements of this week.
Yeah.
That most important thing, Love from 1975, is getting a release through Film Movement this week. Sure, this is a pretty striking slipcover, but the big thing, this is a Schwafsky release. This is the title that is going to make a lot of people very, very happy that it's getting a release finally. I think the DVD for this was out of print and going for like $50+ everywhere. And the big thing is those Schwafsky titles were supposed to be coming out through Mondo. Is it Mondo Video? I never remember the title of that label that did that big possession release. But they are, I mean, they were supposedly putting out more titles from him, and now we've got Film Movement doing this. I wonder if Film Movement might have access to more of them.
If so, great.
That would be a pretty damn big deal, and I love pointing out that this has not sold out yet. There are still 381 slipcovers for this thing, but Game of Pleasure has sold out of its slipcovers.
Well, thank goodness, because I want to get this one. I just need it another day. Everybody jumping on stuff.
This one has an interview with the director. It's got the original trailer and a booklet with the new essay by Kat Ellinger. This was an immediate, and also another Klaus Kinski film.
Yeah, you can order 2 today. Very different performances. Plus, you can get the Paganini.
True. Lots of stuff coming out, Maddie. You are absolutely correct. So many titles. Next is Saturn's Core releasing Larry Wessel's Ultra Megalopolis. And man, Larry was everywhere when this got announced, like saying thank you to people talking about it in the comments everywhere. This says Ultra Megalopolis presents a 2.5-hour psychogeographic tour through the vast post-riot urban sprawl of LA, California, circa the early 90s. Explore the war zone from within its graffiti-covered walls as Larry Wessel trains his camcorder lens on a dizzying display of the city's most peculiar niches and residents, including disabled street performers, junkies, sidewalk religious zealots, ex-cons, celebrity impersonators, and living mannequins. Visit the site of the infamous McMartin Preschool, hear the confessions of Charles Manson's former cellmate, and experience the subterranean boxing gyms, wrestling rings, graffiti yards, and bullfighting arenas of America's smog-infested City of Angels.
I love, like an analog Frederick Wiseman. Love it.
Chris says no XXX titles this month. That's not true. We are getting 2 of them during the halfway sale. We are getting more, I promise. This has all kinds of extras. We got a career-spanning interview with the director. We've got the director reading an excerpt from his upcoming memoir. There's a music video directed by the director, a bunch of short films done by the director. There's even a collection of animated shorts done by the director. This is huge. There's all kinds of stuff on him in here.
Yeah, the trailer looked really intriguing. I knew nothing about it, but this is. I'm kind of trying to decide. Like, I want to get 3 titles out of the OCN, so I'm trying to narrow them down. This one's definitely in my top 5.
All right.
Does it still have
next? It does.
Okay, cool.
Is that making your decision nowadays?
No, but I mean, it's nice if they have them. You know.
I get it. Next is Umbrella releasing Houseboat Horror. This is the same film that they released in Australia late last year. This is a, I believe, pretty identical type of release. Booklet with a new essay by Dan Budnick. There's commentary with comedian Tony Martin and film historian Jarrett Gahan. 30th anniversary Monster Fest Q&A. All kinds of interviews, all kinds of just short films and feature-length documentary on Australian stuntmen directed by Ollie Martin and featuring Houseboat Horror segment with Billy Supersmith and so much more that it couldn't even fit in the Instagram post. It's crazy.
Well, like Houseboat Horror, the 76ers are trash.
All right, so I guess you're not buying this one day one, Will?
I'm interested in seeing it. I don't like the comparison to like The Room and stuff. That it kind of bugs me when movies are advertised as like worst movie ever made. That feels condescending, and I don't know, like, well, are the filmmakers saying that? I don't think so. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm interested in seeing it, but I'm not interested in that kind of marketing strategy. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Like, for a long time, I thought Ed Wood was a terrible filmmaker, and then I saw other movies, and I was like, oh, he's actually just kind of strange, you know?
Right.
And working with no money. He's not a bad filmmaker at all. He's just a weirdo, you know? And so maybe it is a terrible movie. I don't know. But if it's being sold that way, the way The Room is, and The Room, I'm not a Room guy.
Neither am I. I'm ambivalent towards The Room.
Yeah, so I'm interested in seeing this. It's not on my purchase list.
Maddie gave Houseboat Horror 3 out of 5, and Dallas says Houseboat is more akin to an Aussie version of Blood Lake.
Okay, so clearly not the worst movie ever made. You know what I mean?
Next.
Oh, okay. Continuing on. I was gonna go on a rant. No, it's fine.
You can rant more if you want.
No.
All right, houseboat
Like,
or bite if you want.
I was just gonna say I can think of a lot of Australian movies that are probably worse than that. And it's being advertised as the worst movie ever made in Australia. I don't know about that, buddy.
Yellow Veil releasing Without Name from 2016. Okay. I just paid attention to that slipcover for the first time and saw what it was showing. This follows a land surveyor on an assignment to measure an ancient forest for a developer, but soon loses his reason in a supernatural environment that has its own plans. That doesn't tell you a whole lot about the film. We got an introduction by the director. Were you going to say something?
No, the trailer looks really cool, very foreboding. I don't know, it might suck, but
I mean, Yellow Veil pretty much kind of always knocks it out of the park for me. I don't know what it is. I really like their curation.
Yeah, it's guy going into the woods and the woods turning out to be crazy, right?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Trailer looks great, so I'm interested.
Introduction by the director, some behind the scenes, 6 deleted scenes. We got commentary with the director and the writer and an actor. We've got a short film on here called Foxes, behind the scenes footage, Eric hiding in the water. We've got an essay by Laura Kern, and it says new poster, which does not happen with many of these films. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, this one looks pretty decent.
Oh, that's interesting. Craig says there's no trailer on the VS site. There was one because I saw one. Did they take it down?
That's a good question.
I looked at the trailer, I guess yesterday, and that was my whole attraction to the movie.
Let me see if it is. I'm not seeing it up on their YouTube channel. They might have pulled it.
Wow. Well, Google it. It's a cool trailer.
All right. Then we've got Film Movement also putting out Samurai Wolf 1 and 2. The listing for this said 2023, which is not true. Film Movement does this for titles that are double features. They do that when they're putting those out. And the other thing is Film Movement had already released this. This is not new at all. This is just releasing it with a slipcover. But these two films are from 1966 and 1967, and they're known for being great films. These were released by Eureka in the UK. Film Movement's had it out here since, I think, April of last year or May of last year. Have you seen these, Will?
Oh, yeah. And I just I got the Film Movement releases from last year, so I guess all that's new is the slipcover, right?
That's it. Just the slip.
So I'll keep what I got.
But the big thing is even when, and like right now, Film Movement on their side is having a half off sale. If you're a subscriber, this is cheaper than when it's on sale on the Film Movement site. So, hey, that's a win.
Yeah, I mean, it's Hideo Gosha. So if you don't have these, get them.
Yep. Going to the next one. Oh, that's it for OCN. The big thing, I mean, it's partners only at the moment, except for Riddle of Fire. How do you feel about this bundle? Because, man, a lot of people complaining this month.
What bundle?
Just these 11 or 12 titles from all the partners. I felt like more compelled by most of these than some of the other months.
Yeah, these are okay. I mean, I think about half of them I really want, and all of them I would like to see. So that's good.
Yeah, that's a win for me.
No Deaf Crocodile release, so that was the real shame of it.
Yes, Pulp. We did just talk about Without Name, literally like 25 seconds ago.
It was more than 25 seconds, but yeah.
Okay, 45 seconds. Sorry.
It is, it's a tumultuous month. Shudder coming in, Deaf Crocodile going out. some good releases.
Big sale coming up.
Yeah, I'm just kind of resigned to figuring out what I can pick up and what I need to let go of.
Totally get that. One big thing for us,
Yeah.
the newest issue of the Physical
Big
Media
announcement.
Advocate is out and in public, and everybody's getting the physical rendition already, which I don't even have to show yet. Mine's not even going to be here till Sunday. This issue is pretty dang fantastic, in my opinion. We've got some pretty incredible pieces in here. Stan Geezy, who's in the chat right now, is amazing. Helped me do the layout again this month, and wrote a long article on his personal experiences with the Guyver. That release is coming out soon with Unearthed, and we really wanted to highlight on it. And we got a pretty cool thing. We got like a little exclusive interview with Stephen Biro. I never remember how to say his last name, from Unearthed. He answered a couple questions about the Guyver release and shared some behind the scenes stuff. We got Charles Longo, who's, I believe, watching. He was watching earlier on Facebook, talking about True Romance. Rachel Belwar, who always writes a column for this every month. She wrote a big piece on Carolyn Jones. Frank Gutler from Lights Camera Learn did a little versus piece between The Princess Bride and Pulp Fiction, which is really good. And then we had our Arrow Alley journey like we always do. Eugenio Orcolani shared his work on the Satanic release from TerraVision, what's going to be on that disc. And then we got a on the scene report from the Kim's video premiere from Uncle Cadaver. That was pretty great. And then the big thing for me, Brian Dembinski, who is in the chat tonight, put a new piece that he's going to be working on every month called The Out of Print. And you got the behind the scenes for this. You guys are not ready. It's going to be really great. Not to mention, I'm really happy with the art for this month. I think that's really cool. We got that 4K release about to come out. This is fun. You can get it on digital. You can get it physical. But the cool thing, which we're going to see a video in a minute, so I'll keep that to myself. I got some more news about retail stuff. But let's go to the next one. Dark Arts, we were just talking about them. They're putting out Terror Firma from 2023. As far as I can tell, this is their first release. Have no idea about this film. I've not seen it. And as far as I can tell, there are no extras listed anywhere, which does not bode super well for the future of the label, in my opinion, for me at least. I like extras.
I only know Terror Firma, so
that's the one I've heard of. Yeah. Craig, we would love to have you write something in there for sure. We got to get you back.
I'm still. My advice column is still available.
I've been trying to push behind the scenes. He keeps telling me no, but then telling everybody publicly yes. So just letting you know, there's some kind of beef here.
What?
I'll fight you, Will.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you. Yeah.
What? Beef?
I'm making fake drama because you won't write for me.
I've never been asked.
Yeah. Oh, that's BS right there. Now there's real beef.
You've never asked me to write for the Physical Media.
That's not true. That is not true.
Are you sure?
Yes.
What'd you ask me to write?
I'm not going to prompt you to write something specifically. I want you to write something you want to write.
I got to have a prompt. What am I going to say?
See, then you're never going to write.
You got to prompt me.
I agree, Stan. When will Will write? All right. Moving right. Oh, come on. What is this, amateur hour? All right, let's talk about a big movie. The Conversation.
I offered a advice column.
William. The Conversation from 1974. This is coming on 4K from Studio Canal. How about some thoughts on this?
Oh, it's a good movie. I was really interested if there was going to be a re-edit, which I thought would be ironic for this particular film, and there's not. So this is not one of the films that Coppola has gone back to mess with. I think that right now is a really good time to rewatch this film and other films about the surveillance state, even including Tony Scott's Enemy of the State, Snowden, JFK, Redacted, all of these. Because, well, I don't want to get political. But there is a deep state. There's a deep state that's fighting the forever war and has a vested interest in keeping it going. There's a deep state that has just reauthorized unconstitutional surveillance of civilians.
I'm sorry. I thought it would be really funny if the deep state pulled you out of the stream for a moment.
You did. I don't know what was redacted just now.
No one will ever know.
Well, they are. They are. They're watching. So, back to the conversation. I think it's hilarious that there's a cassette.
Yeah, so speaking of that, this has it's going to be a 2-disc collector's edition, rigid box packaging with magnetic closing, 64-page booklet with 4 new essays, original soundtrack cassette tape, original and new posters in this, and the extras. When you're doing a classic like this is how you do it right. You get a Q&A with Walter Murch, filmed at Curzon, Soho in 2017, behind the scenes, stills, gallery, a 50th anniversary trailer, feature commentary with the writer-director Francis Ford Coppola, feature commentary with the editor, close-up on the conversation with Coppola dictating his script. There's the opening sequence, all kinds of featurettes on here. Composer David Shire interviewed by Francis Ford Coppola, interview with Gene Hackman from 50 years ago. There's a 1956 short from Francis Ford Coppola. This is pretty big. This will, I believe, have a standard release, but this looks stacked. If this is like one of your favorite movies ever, this is the kind that you'll probably want to upgrade for. I will say, I know it's just a mock-up, and this is not a real release that they laid out fancy to take a picture. That box looks massive for what they're showing here.
Well, there's a reason for that, and that's because of all the surveillance equipment that's hidden inside. So if you purchase this, you're basically giving your life to the government.
Yes. So essentially, Studio Canal has done a few times where they've had a giant box release, and when you open it up, it's like shockingly empty. There's a lot of empty space in there. This looks like a good release, though, and the trailer for it looks great. Jeremy is watching from Facebook. Yes, we have talked about UHF.
Oh my God. He picked the red snapper. Naturally.
All right. Carrying on.
I hope Jeremy got to hear this story about him and my sister. That's fine. I got to hear the reaction.
He did not hear that one. Yes, Pulp, this is a 4K release. The conversation is a 4K release.
Or is it?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Okay. All right, fine. Who can you trust?
Hopefully Studio Canal this time. Paramount is releasing...
we would talk about other releases, and I can't say.
That was the hopefully Studio Canal part.
No. Oh, right.
Paramount is releasing Halo Season 2 on July 23rd in a 4K Steelbook and a standard Blu-ray release. I've not watched the show, but I've heard it's pretty good.
It's like
next.
That image looks like if like Army recruiting went after the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
All right.
I don't know what that. Oh no, that's a person's body. Okay,
It was, yeah. You really need to get your eyes checked.
I'm telling you, I'm so like, I'm like in that Twilight Zone episode. I can't see.
Okay, so I'm gonna respond to this because Chris keeps saying it, so I want to make sure that we get it answered. Chris says Paramount is getting bought out by Sony, supposedly. That is not a guarantee yet. They are up in talks. It will be a big deal if that happens, obviously, but they are in talks to do it. They're not even the first in line for it, though. So
Jeremy said, "I'm sure it wasn't pleasant." I mean, it wasn't unpleasant. It was really more a story about my sister.
And Craig says we need a GoFundMe for Will's eyes.
Yeah, actually.
Sibner said, didn't the nuns tell you if you did it too much, you'd go blind?
I was raised godless.
All right. Next, Magnet, and this is coming through Magnolia Pictures, is releasing The Animal Kingdom from 2023. This is a visionary new thriller that drops viewers into an extraordinary world where mutations in human genetics cause people to transform into hybrid creatures. This sounds like Animorphs. Francois does everything he can to save his wife, who's affected by this mysterious condition. As some of the creatures disappear into a nearby forest, Francois embarks with Emile, their 16-year-old son, on a quest to find her with help from a local police officer. And it is done by director Thomas Cayley. The film world premiered at the opening night of Cannes.
I feel like Toby Hooper directed an unaired pilot of a show that was a lot like this. And I know this thanks to Stan. Well, whatever.
All right. Next is Housekeeping for Beginners, getting a release from Universal on July 2nd here in the U.S. And I know Will knows nothing about it, and I know nothing about it. So we'll carry to the next one.
I know about housekeeping.
Bullet to Beijing from 1995 is getting a Blu-ray release in the UK from Final Cut Entertainment on July 22nd. This is one of the Harry Palmer made-for-TV movies. I believe there's one more of these that was made for TV as well.
Oh my God, I just realized that guy is named Harry Palmer. Decades, and I didn't get that joke. I assume it's a deliberate joke.
It's the UK, of course it is.
Oh, Mia Sarah. Glad to see her. Oh, when was this? When did this go? Oh,
95.
Okay. I was like, oh, glad to see she's still working. Oh, no, this is from 20 years ago.
30 years ago, Will.
Oh. 30. Oh,
not to make you feel older.
Oh, my God. Really? 30?
I mean, 29 years, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. How about that? Well, so it goes.
Next up, hey, this is what I was alluding to.
Oh, yeah.
The Physical Media Advocate is available in Scarecrow Video in Seattle. It is also going to be available in store in a place in LA here in the next couple weeks. And Chris Silvestri, who I just highlighted in the chat, is going to be selling it at his store in Granby, Massachusetts, called Legends as well. Working to get it at a place in Canada, of course, and some others. I'm just trying to get this in front of many people as possible. Buy it in person if possible. It shows people that you want it.
Of course, in Canada, it's called the Physical Media Advocate Day.
Advocati.
That's so cool, dude. I'm so happy for you.
Yes, Craig, it will be in LA in the next couple weeks. And yes, Dallas, Orbit and I are already in active talks.
I mean, you've never read the Physical Media Advocate unless you've read it in LA.
Second Run DVD is releasing Merry-Go-Round from 1956 on Blu-ray on May 27th. As usual, this is going to be region free, which is great. Second run is usually pretty amazing at that. This is presented from an HD transfer of a new 4K restoration by the Hungarian Film Institute. We've got some screen tests from 1955 on here. Short film on the history and restoration of merry-go-round. 20-page booklet with new writing by author and Hungarian cinema specialist John Cunningham. Some new subtitles. Second run does not get enough love.
No. Ugh. 99 Groff balloons.
All right. Next is Faceless After Dark, getting a Blu-ray release from Dark Sky on June 25th. Supposedly, this is pretty good. It says, following her breakout success as the star of a killer clown horror flick, Bowie now finds herself struggling to capitalize on its success. But when she is suddenly held hostage by an unhinged fan posing as that same killer clown, horror becomes her reality as she fights to survive the night and escape before he completes his sinister plan to recreate the film's fatal plot.
Okay.
Sounds fun.
Well, I like clowns.
I think Will's checked out for the night.
I'm here. Show my clowns.
Studio Canal, as part of their Vintage Classics line, will be releasing The Bells Go Down from 1943. This is one of the Ealing Studios films that they alluded to over the last couple months. So getting another one of those. I've not seen this one. Any thoughts on this there, Will?
Love Basil Dearden. Love James Mason. That's enough. All
right. Good to know. And finally, some release details. Monk Season 8 will release on June 25th. It's got all kinds of special features that are archival features, and you will be able to get this on Blu-ray then. Celeste was asking in the comments that I didn't see till just now, what are the chances you think we get a box set now that these are all out? I mean, honestly, I kind of think they would have offered it first from Kino. They tend to do that. But it's possible.
Well, on that, there was an interview with what's his name from Kino that comes on Serial.
Brink Tarzi.
Yeah. And he said that it was more economically feasible to do them separately.
I think that's because each season has to be priced like $28. So to do all of them, you're looking at like a $215 box set.
Yeah.
Which that's pretty pricey for a Kino box set.
I also think it like actually fits well with the OCD thing to do them one season at a time, you know.
I think the better thing would be to release all 8 of them and make 7 of them the same black slipcovers and make one of them white.
That would be great.
As usual, we always look at what is coming out next week, just in case you forgot. And this one's odd because Flicker Alley is doing a weird thing. But I wanted to remind people, Against the Storm, Herbert Klein in a Darkened Europe, that is coming out tomorrow. And this is one that I have on pre-order and need to get in soon. I'm dying to see this thing. But next Tuesday, The Crow 4K finally lands. High Noon 4K from Kino. Joysticks gets its not re-release really, but like proper release from MVD. Fletch and Fletch Lives. Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island from Warner Archive. Finally, thank goodness. Hardware Wars from MVD Rewind. The Mask of Fu Manchu from Warner Archive. Story of Floating Weeds from Criterion. Night Falls on Manhattan from Arrow, and that is a blue release. One from the Heart 4K in the US finally. The Rain People Warner Archive. Devil's Doorway Warner Archive. Secret Beyond the Door from Kino. Hey, I've seen this movie before. Retail release of Spider Labyrinth. The Fun City Edition release of Seeing Red, 3 French vigilante thrillers is getting released next week. I cannot wait to get that in. That's getting some pretty rave reviews. Sabotage from MVD Rewind is next week as well. We've got a director spotlight on Sidney Pollack. It's still a weird double feature. She is Conan from Altered Innocence. I think that's most of the big ones. Any thoughts for next week there, Will?
Well, my big ones were the Tinto Brass films. Obviously, I'm happy about Spider Labyrinth. The Crow. I love Brandon Lee. I think Rapid Fire is one of the most underappreciated action films of the 90s. The Crow has such a great look about it and such a great soundtrack that it makes up for the fact that the film just, for me, some people, I'm not speaking for everybody, but for me, the film doesn't hold together. And so, but I bet it looks great. So I'm pretty interested in checking out the 4K. It is one of the greatest soundtracks of all time.
Absolutely.
And just, man, what a tragic death. Brandon Lee could have been one of the great action stars, of the generation. I mean, Rapid Fire is so. Rapid Fire is not a great movie, but the action in Rapid Fire is so good, and Brandon Lee's charisma. Showdown Little Tokyo, he's so cool in it. I don't know about Laser Mission, that movie he did with Ernest Borgnine. I never saw that one, but Showdown Little Tokyo, Rapid Fire, The Crow, just. He could have been so much, and so I'm glad that this release is going to be kind of the definitive Crow for people to see. I remember when it came out, I was living. Well, I grew up in like the nearest movie theater was about 30 minutes away, and it never got anything worth shit, and so we didn't get The Crow when it came out, and I didn't get to see it until VHS, and you see The Crow on VHS, you're not really seeing The Crow. So pretty happy about this. I'm actually like kind of choked up. Like Brandon Lee, I had such a movie crush on that guy. It was so great. Showdown Little Tokyo and Rapid Fire, two of my favorite 90s action movies. So
Well, and Showdown Little Tokyo, of course, available from Warner Archive. But the big deal, when are we going to get Rapid Fire back? I mean, that was a Twilight Time release, and it's, of course, everywhere for like $80+, of course.
I mean, I have it. Be happy to contribute some special features to a new edition for sure. Not to mention Dolph Lundgren's The Punisher.
You had mentioned the Tinto Brass titles. Wanted to show the Frivolous Lola 4K that Cult Epics just did. This is a part of a. What are we laughing
at? She's squatting in the rain, man.
This is part. This is part of a.
I just wanted to showcase this.
What I'm getting at, this is part of a big giveaway package I'm doing in the newest issue of the Physical Media Advocate. If you want to see about how to enter, get that new issue, and does that help you, Will?
Show Frivolous Lola too. I mean, all ladies do it. All ladies.
I don't have All Ladies Do It next to me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, these are two great Tinto Brass movies. That's great. Very exciting. What else? Mask of Fu Manchu, I'm pretty stoked about. I mean, there's some racial insensitivities in that film. What else? Will you pull it up again?
Literally right after I closed it down.
You asked me what I'm excited about.
And that was like 8 minutes, and then you started talking about Brandon Lee. And okay, just a second.
Well, I was excited about The Crow.
And so you answered the question. Well done.
Oh, okay. So none of the other movies matter.
Jesus, Will.
Yeah, I don't care about those. High Noon, yeah.
That's going to be the whole answer. Oh, yeah, I don't care about any of these.
Well, we've talked about One from the Heart and Rain People. Yeah. Devil's Doorway. That's a good one. Yeah. 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 I've heard good things about She's Conan.
Oh,
Okay,
man.
great. Yeah, that's good. That's a good looking week.
Oh, Will.
Yeah.
So what's been going on with someone's favorite productions? Anything you want to highlight from everybody?
Well, you got a big week coming up. I don't know what I'm allowed to say, but I'm working on a thing for a thing that's going to be pretty cool. And there's a lot of moving parts involved. And the last thing you want to give me is moving parts. So we'll see if it works out.
I'm pretty excited because we are in talks to be involved in the first U.S. release of a film that has been released overseas that I've loved for a long time, and very curious to see how people respond to that, especially because it looks like it's going to be getting like brand new scan and pretty exciting release. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes at all these labels. Obviously, it's hard to stay on top of, and that's why I do my best to help on these Thursdays. But just stay on top of things. However best you want to do it. Don't feel like you got pressure to buy everything. Don't feel like you need to keep up with the Joneses or anything. It's rough out there, and the whole collector's mindset behind all this makes everything more difficult. But man, there's a lot of entitlement going on out there right now too.
I mean, I do think people should buy the stuff that we're on, but yeah. No, I'm just kidding. No, everybody should get. It's a great time, As we've been saying for the past couple of years, you can not just get access to the stuff that you already know, but things that you've never been exposed to before. And yeah, man, it's been a couple months. I want to give a shout out to Celeste, who has been so gracious to me. We are going to be doing the exploitation film series soon, and I had to delay it because I was just like a mess this past month, 2 months really, and Celeste and I are both kind of figuring out our futures, and but I'm so excited to be doing it, and it's going to be happening pretty soon. We'll start this sort of history of exploitation film series. You and I have a bunch of projects percolating, and I don't know what I'm allowed to speak to, so I'm not going to say anything specific except to say big and huge, and that's it. I'm like, wow. I feel very blessed. How about I'll say that? I feel blessed right now.
I'm glad. I'm so glad.
So blessed.
As if we weren't busy enough already, it also is the week where I did launch another thing. The first episode of Film Foundations went live just 2 days ago. Well, it's after midnight here now, so it went live on Wednesday, where we discussed Edgar Wright, and you can watch that on YouTube, or you can listen to it wherever you get podcasts. Check it out because it's it's gonna be a hell of a show. We've already, literally, we recorded an episode last night, Wednesday night, that is scheduled to go up in November of this year. That's how far ahead we are already. So there's a lot of pretty great things coming, including multiple people in the chat, including Celeste. There's a lot of great stuff coming. We got one with Will that's coming out in just a couple weeks.
You know, I was going to mention this to you kind of off camera.
How about we just talk afterwards then?
I know you know what's coming. I
know.
I think we need to redo that one.
We'll talk about it. So what that other show is going to be really fun, and some of the guests that we've got lined up are really cool. Heather Drain is our first guest, and that episode goes up next Wednesday. But you can check out the format right now. Man, anything else going on that you want to shout out, Will? We've had a long night already.
New book, collection of essays that's coming out probably October, called The Weird, a Companion. I have an essay in it.
People can get a degree in that?
No, actually, that's not the case. It's like one thing in a much larger thing, but I'll share probably more next month. But that book, a collection of essays, various writers about the weird in fiction, is coming out, and I've got a piece about Octavia E. Butler. Some people might know for Kindred, Parable of the Sower, Parable of the Talents, many other books, Fledgling. So that's coming out soon. I'll send a link to maybe post in the Discord for that George Romero tribute journal issue, which has a lot of great essays about Romero's films, including my piece on Bruiser and Season the Witch.
Just a reminder that you have access to the Discord too. You are allowed to post links.
Yeah, that's what I said.
You said you would send a link to me to post to the Discord.
Oh, did I say no? I send a link to the Discord. You'll have to remind me to do it, but I think that's it. I got some other stuff coming out, but it's not official yet. So.
All right. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff going on behind the scenes. We are working on an ungodly number of releases right now. It would be unfair to even start to try to hint at some of them. Just keep an eye out. You know where to follow. You know that we are going to do our best to put out releases that we are proud of and that we want to see on discs. Yeah. Next week, by the way, I just brought up Film Foundations. Chris Dashew is back, and we're going to be doing a live episode of Film Foundations next Thursday after our announcements. So come back and check that out. You can argue with us in the comments as we discuss our 4 questions that we answer in every episode. It's going to be a fun one.
I just saw Celeste comment about my leftist credentials.
I keep forgetting that you can't see anything, and I'm like, I highlighted that episode or that comment for you earlier.
Oh, I just saw it. It's pretty funny.
All right. If we don't have anything else, I think that might be it for the night, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Oh, man.
Thanks. Till next month, Will's amazing, and you should follow him on Instagram and wait for him to post every 6 weeks.
I put a picture of my kid up.
I did notice that. All right. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We'll see you next time. Have a good one. Thanks, Will. And yeah, we'll see you next Thursday. Thank you for watching The Disconnected. On the way out, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, that you've liked the video, and that you've copied the link to be able to share it with someone else that may appreciate this.